Um, and yeah, I mean, Connor, we obviously did a couple podcast episodes about this. We had a trade yesterday. Germani, is it Germani Grant or
Jeremy.
It's Grant. I don't know his last name,
Just
but
Jeremy
anyways,
Grant.
he was traded to the not he was traded to the Trailblazers. Is that correct?
Portland Trailblazers, who
Um,
are active in talks right now as well. Um, Portland gave up a Nuggets 2025 first round pick in that deal, and they swapped
mhm.
seconds, which is lower than the expected value for Grant by all accounts. I mean, Pistons fans originally thought they had a chance to get pick 7 for him, um, which didn't happen. But a ton of rumors spewing about this morning. First things first, on the non-draft side, we had huge news where it seems like Kyrie might not be a net for much longer. Was
Come
trying.
back to Boston, Kyrie.
No, thank you. But he's looking to be engaged in a sign and trade potentially to a new number of contenders.
I honestly, you want to know where my money's at for him?
Where
What do you think? I think he's gonna go to Los Angeles. I think he's gonna play
I
for
think
like.
so too. The Los Angeles Clippers.
Oh, you think he's gonna go to the Clippers?
Who
But who are they
who?
gonna give? Used to be
Marcus
Paul
Morris,
George.
Norman Powell, Reggie Jackson, and a first.
It's not a bad offer. I mean, I think that it depends on where Kyrie wants to go. Like, I would think that he would rather play with LeBron.
It doesn't matter if you'd rather play with LeBron. LeBron has no assets to give up to get Kyrie. Kyrie cannot sign with one of these
Give
teams
up
unless it's a
AD.
sign and trade. It just doesn't
Give up
work.
AD. Give up
You're
AD.
not giving up AD for Kyrie.
Oh, AD is so bad
And
though.
they're not taking on Russell Westbrook for Kyrie.
AD is so bad.
The Nets have all the leverage in this. Unless he wants to go
Well,
to
I
like
don't. I
Detroit.
disagree with that. I don't think that they have all the leverage. I think that Kyrie doesn't want to play in Brooklyn anyways. So
Listen,
I
no,
would
he wants a.
disagree.
He's fine playing in Brooklyn. He just wants to get paid, and they don't want to give him a long-term deal. But he can't go anywhere that he wants to go to without a sign and trade.
Right.
But if Kyrie leaves, it probably might. It will make KD question his future with the.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what KD's really gonna do. I feel like, I mean, again, everyone. I feel like people are always discussing, his two championships with the Warriors in the context that, oh, KD needed a super team to win it all. Like, KD is a very good player in his own right,
Mhm.
and I think he still has a lot to offer. Um, but I think that I don't think that either of those guys will be Nets next season. Like, that's just my personal feeling. I don't know. I mean, I think that KD's probably going to want to go somewhere else if I take a guess at it. Um, I just think that it's probably a little
I
too
think he'd
crazy.
rather get paid long term. That's all he cares.
I mean, that's possible. I mean, I guess we'll figure that out because if he takes the money, I mean, he's already won a couple championships, but I feel like if he takes a lot of money and he doesn't really do anything, and then his next few seasons is going to say a lot about his character and probably about his legacy. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if he takes a long term deal, he's what, 33 now, I think. I mean, he's gonna take a 5-year deal, 4-year, 5-year deal, and is he gonna win a championship with Brooklyn in that time? Maybe, probably not though. I mean, you'd think he probably won't, given the way they played the past few seasons, right?
Kind of an. But in more relevant to the draft news, as I was mentioning yesterday, or when we recorded it, I don't know when, Michael, you put up the
I put it up
podcast.
yesterday, I
Yeah, so
believe.
as I mentioned on the podcast, it looked like kind of clear cut. Number one, Jabari Smith. Number two, Chet Holmgren. Number three, Paolo Banchero. And then this morning, Paolo Banchero emerged as the leader to be the number one pick and
Hmm.
led all bookies. And people thought that the Rockets were interested in trading up to one um, to with the Magic to get and secure Paolo as number one. And then, like an hour later, Wojnarowski said, no, Jabari Smith is still the number one pick, and odds went from Jabari being plus 130 to being negative 8,000 as the clear and obvious number one pick. And 5 minutes ago now, Wojnarowski says, well, now Paolo Banchero has emerged as a significant possibility to be drafted number one. So some fugazi is going on out here with the unknowns about who is going number one.
Definitely.
But right now, in my opinion, they want Jabari. They know the Thunder want Chet. They know the Rockets want Paolo, and the Magic are throwing this smokescreen out to Woj to try to get the Rockets to trade them pick 3 and maybe pick 17 to get up to secure Paolo at 1, which was the rumor this morning, is my belief. I don't think, personally, the Rockets will bite on it. I think they'll say, we think you want Jabari, and we're going to let that happen. But that's kind of what my thought process is right now.
Right. I mean, I think, again, I agree. I think that oftentimes there's quite a bit of smoke screen that's thrown up and into it, right? But I don't know. I mean, for me personally, I don't know. I agree with you. I think that Jabari Smith is probably gonna. Is that his name?
Yep, right? Jabari Smith Jr.
Yeah, I think that he's probably gonna be the number one. Woj, he's just saying stuff. I mean, in this time,
he gets fed intel by GMs to try to help him out and stuff. What happens?
Yeah, and also he's got to say something with 30 minutes in the pre-draft show, and at some point you just have to say something. So I tend to not really look at any of the stuff that comes out, especially right before the draft. I generally don't think that's super accurate. Especially at the draft show, it's one thing if it's coming out somewhere else, but it's at the draft show. I mean, let's be honest, that's not the most credible.
There's one trade right now that looks to be the closest to happening, I'll say, and that's a 3-team deal between the 76ers, Portland Trail Blazers, and Houston Rockets. This deal would have sent Eric Gordon, or if it happens, this deal would send Eric Gordon over to the Philadelphia 76ers, and probably Danny Green, Furkan Korkmaz, and a first to the Rockets, and then the Blazers would jump in to get Matisse Thybulle that spot. Just probably throw in a player to get Thybulle. I don't know what they'd give up. I don't think you'd give up pick 7 for a guy who can't do anything on offense.
Right. I mean, is there any real benefit in that trade for the 76ers, honestly?
Well, the 76ers want Eric Gordon. That's what they're doing it for.
But why?
Bench scoring, which they badly need. Playmaking off the bench. He'll give you 20 and 5 easily. And he has for years on the Rockets. Right. He's been a sought-after trade asset, but nothing ever came too big on it. But, I mean, I don't know what the Trailblazers would give up to the Rockets in this scenario. You're definitely not giving up pick 7, trading down to 17-7 just for Matisse Thybulle. But they were looking at Lou Dort earlier. And if Lou Dort doesn't work out, that 7-12 and Dort trade doesn't work out, then this could be that kind of defensive anchor next to Anthony Simons and Dame, who aren't the best defenders, to kind of fit into that team.
Right. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens for sure. This is going to be an entertaining draft. Connor and I will be here for quite a while. I think we'll probably be here for about, about 3 hours here covering the draft for you, or whenever the first round ends. But yeah, I mean, it should be interesting. I'm excited to see. I don't really watch the NBA draft. I've never really watched it ever. That's mostly because it's kind of always been clear cut who's the number one guy for so many years, like who's going 1. So definitely excited to see this year's draft. The Celtics obviously don't have a pick, but Connor.
Yeah, the Celtics have a lot of rumors floating about right now. A lot of talks with the TPE. First and foremost, there were talks about them trying to move back into the first round, and then reports came out that Aaron Nesmith, Peyton Pritchard, and Grant Williams are available for trades, depending on the return they can get. That's Grant Williams is on the last year of this deal. His AAV is going to be around 15 mil a year, which the Celtics aren't sure if they want to completely pay that, depending on what they get for them. And then Pritchard and Nesmith are two young players that you can still improve upon on your team and put more win now players in those spots. So that's definitely possible. And then the TPE candidates, there was a Luke Kennard rumor that they were looking at. Then following that, there was a rumor that they were looking at Alec Burks from the Knicks, and the Knicks were like, well, we'll give you Evan Fournier to fit in the Fournier traded player exception, which is, new rumor out of Shams Bomb. Kyrie Irving is going to opt into his deal and then request a trade, rather than sit in free agency.
There you go.
So yeah,
there you go.
Nets really have a lot of leverage in the sign and trade. I think there's a chance they can get a big enough package in return that KD stays. I think that Clippers one is definitely one to look at, where you'd have a starting lineup of like Reggie Jackson, Norman Powell, Ben Simmons, KD, and then whatever center, Claxton or Drummond or LMA, and then off the bench if Marcus Morris is scoring, that's possible. But we'll see what happens with that. But that's probably not going to be a draft day trade. Detroit is looking to trade up for a second lottery pick. Another room just came out right here, which I can see. And they're looking to trade up for one of the top centers, potentially, maybe Jalen Duran. Which there were rumors about them going after Ayton in free agency, but if they can get Duran here, they might prefer not to spend that money. Maybe take on the Gordon Hayward contract, get another pick, and kind of roll with that. We'll see if anything comes up with that. But yeah, back on the Celtics. But a lot of traded player candidates are looking now. We should give up a future pick with them. One I've liked a lot is Kyle Kuzma, as the Wizards appear to be shopping him as kind of a scoring, decent defensive big man off the bench, power forward off the bench. So just a lot happening. Obviously, one after the Jeremy Grant trade happened, there was a rumor the Portland Trailblazers might be looking to trade 7 for OG Anunoby off the Raptors, who is apparently unhappy in his spot there. But just a ton of movement since we recorded that podcast in terms of.
I mean, that is life, isn't it? I mean, there's always movement. I feel like, but again, this year more so than most years in the NBA, there's just a lot of stuff going on.
Another rumor that came up is the Thunder wanted to trade up for either Ivy or Shadon Sharpe, and that kind of fit with what I had in my mock draft, where they trade up to 7 and take Sharpe. So that's definitely something to be looking at that number 7 pick. But really, number 1 pick, look for Rockets to trade. If there's no trade, I think it's going to be Jabari Smith, and then we'll kind of have a trickling of trades starting, I think, at that pick number 4. I think the Kings will try to get a pretty big return, maybe up to Julius Randle and 2 firsts for that number 4 pick, and we'll see what they can kind of. I mean, even at getting John Collins for that pick, obviously both these trades would have Harrison Barnes sent back, but definitely options for them to get a pretty competitive player in return, where they don't really want Ivy, and Ivy doesn't want to go there.
Yeah, StatMuse just put something out where the Magic can field this lineup next season, where they have Bol, Franz Wagner, Jonathan Isaac, Mo Bamba, and Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, I remember when they won the lottery, they put that out.
It would be pretty crazy.
A bit small lineup. Probably look for some bigger pieces there. All the
guys. I mean, those guys aren't really that tall, so there's always room to grow.
Only guy under 7 foot is like 6'11", John Isaac.
Yeah, I mean, a very small guy. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting draft. Again, I've never really watched it. So I'm kind of excited to see. I mean, I thought the NFL draft was very entertaining. Um,
And last year, the NBA draft was just a ton of trades happen. It was
mhm.
very active in movement, and reports are seeming like this one might even be even more active than last year was, which would be very fun. It's seeming like it's gonna be one of the more active drafts in a while, really.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, again, we'll see. It's gonna be awesome. I mean, I don't know. I'm sad that the Celtics don't have a pick.
Yeah, well, they do have
Um,
pick 53 in the second round.
right, but a first round pick. I mean,
One guy the
you know,
Celtics really like is Terry Eason.
yeah,
Um,
he's just walking down now, actually.
the kind of power forward out of LSU.
LSU.
Good
Yep.
defender, huge hands, like Kawhi level hands. Definitely, um, definitely could be a strong prospect for them or whoever takes them. I think I had a mock to the Hawks at their pick at 4. Yeah, so
Yeah.
personally, my favorite player in this draft is Paolo Banchero. I think he's going to be the best out of the top 3. I think the Magic, if I was the GM, should draft Chet Holmgren. I think he fits easily the best next to Wendell Carter than the other two, because Wendell Carter's kind of molded more into a power forward last year, the way he played next to Bamba. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's looking like they're like Jabari Smith, who's just kind of a pure scorer for them.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that you have the order right. I do. Again, I love Paolo Banchero, but I just don't think he's as good of a fit. Um, yeah.
As the
Yeah, and
Orlando
there's
Magic
Nikola
move,
Jovic.
closer to getting on the clock, Paolo Banchero is now looming as the front runner to be the number 1 overall pick.
Feels like a horse race where
Thank you,
you have that
Wojnarowski.
second or third place horse who's just got a head load of steam coming into the final turn, almost. I mean, this would be crazy if Paolo gets it. Yeah, there's so many. Who's Benedict Matherin?
He's a guard prospect, kind of like a 2 guard. The Pistons have a lot of love in him. Apparently, if like Ivy goes 4, they could take him at 5. He went to Arizona, led them to the tournament. He was a good
Yeah, I mean,
player.
all
He's
I'm rooting for tonight is
very
Nikola
raw.
Jovic. I'm going for Nikola Jovic to go to the Nuggets, and that's all I'm rooting for. That's it, really.
Be pretty fun. Pretty fun.
As long as we get Jovic and Jokic on the same court, I mean, that's all we're looking for. There's Jabari Smith Jr. walking down.
There's a funny thing. Jabari Smith Jr.'s dad took a selfie with Chet in the hotel.
Is it really?
Very funny. Yeah.
That's kind of interesting, honestly. You don't really see that too often. There's Jeremy Sochan. He's got the bleached hair. His dad really is not a big guy.
Jabari?
No, Jeremy Sochan. I thought maybe there's Ty Ty Washington. That's a kind of a cool name, honestly. Ty Ty.
Yeah, he's solid. He's the top point guard. Not incredible. I don't think he'll go lottery. But yeah, I mean, I like Sochan a lot. He is probably the best defender in basketball last year. Um, Mikal Bridges esque, you'd say. Maybe better defensively. Probably
There's Blake
not as
Wesley.
good offensively. Blake Wesley, I was surprised he got called to this. But I think it's definitely definitely could go in the first round. I didn't have him as a first round grade. I didn't love him as a prospect, but I see a lot of buzz with him going to the Nuggets. Possibility.
Yeah, I mean they have to invite some guys who they know aren't going to get picked, so they can have that camera shot of all the guys being upset. Mark Williams, center from Duke. Now that man is a tall man. I think that's it.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's the big mark to the Hornets at one of their two first, so they don't have to trade both of them to get off the Gordon Hayward god awful contract.
Gordon Hayward, we love you, but man, did your career fall off as soon as you came to the Celtics?
First game as a Celtic. His career hasn't been.
Nope. I mean, his career has lit. I think you can make the argument that his career since that moment has been like he was on track to be one of the best players or one of the better players of the generation. And now I just feel like his career has just been completely sidetracked. Anyway, to be fair, really not his fault.
His injuries.
Just injuries, but like tragic almost. But what are you gonna do? I mean, you can't control that. You know, you feel bad for the guy.
About to go on the clock now.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm sure the NBA asked what try not to spoil. I'm sure that won't happen. I mean, it worked with Schefter this year. They told Schefter and Rappaport
Schefter and Ian.
Yeah, they told him not to spoil picks, and they didn't. So we'll see.
Yeah, Albert Brewer did it though, so it was nice.
Yeah, there's always other guys, but the big names kind of keep it less complaining because most don't know outside of the big game. Oh, he still leaked every pick for that draft. You can watch the pre-shows with. You can watch Woj's show where he's just sitting there with his phone in his hands the whole time talking.
It's the most entertaining pre-show out there.
Sham staring at his phone.
Yeah, I mean, hey, a little bit of football news. Olamide Zaccheaus feels like the Falcons are a playoff team. Quote, we can shock a lot of people.
Hey, beat the Saints twice and maybe.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you never know.
Week of it.
You never know. Bro, I mean, I get it. I just don't get it. Does that make sense? Like, so I'm looking at around the NFL, and so, you know, Chris Wessling, obviously, he died, I think, last year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, never mind. That's just their pinned tweet. I feel like I know him, but I just don't know him. I feel like I know his face almost. Anyways,
Chris Wessling?
Yeah.
He was a writer.
Yeah, I feel like I know his face though from somewhere.
He was on he was NFL Network.
That's where I know him from.
Yeah, he had
yeah, last year, sorry. I just clicked on around the NFL and that's the pinned tweet. So what do you think of Chet Holmgren's fit for the draft?
What are some bad fits? You see Piolos, like purple with the flowers on it, but they're like silver.
He does not have good fashion sense.
Flowers, yeah, they're not good. There's some bad fits. There's some good ones too.
Kylian Mbappe is at the NFL or the NBA draft tonight. Soccer star giving some advice. Kind of interesting for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting for sure. He's gonna be interesting.
Game. Do we get any news?
We are on the clock officially. Is that correct?
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if Adam has officially announced it, but
Mr. Silver
should be on pretty.
Andrew Wiggins, former first round pick.
He's at the draft?
No, they just
Oh.
posted a photo of him.
Okay.
Bleacher Report did.
There he is. Thank you, Miss.
There's Mr. Silver. You know, if Adam actually gets some better referees in the NBA, I'd actually, care a little bit more about this.
This is the first draft with not a full 60 picks, as 2 teams were forfeited their first round pick, their second round pick, sorry. That's
Who's that?
the Miami Heat for tampering with Kyle Lowry, and the Milwaukee Bucks for tampering with Bogdan Bogdanovic, which didn't actually go through either, so they lost a second round pick for nothing.
Yeah, well, the
Traded
Bucks
for
hashtag
Grayson Allen
suck.
instead, which didn't work.
Well, too bad, so sad. Mr. Baldy's at the podium. That's his nickname, because he's bald. We love Adam. I like him as a commissioner, though, overall. I mean, he's not bad. Just as terrible
Bad.
taste in referees.
But he really just tries to maximize viewership and profit as much as he can.
Yeah, I mean,
Keep the especially with
but
like
what's,
this
integrity
the
of the game.
mid-year tournament crap and all this stuff that doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, again,
Just say the Magic are on the clock. I don't need this spiel.
Celtics Forum kind of pisses me off sometimes, Connor.
I'm pretty sure I have him blocked or something. That guy has no idea what he's talking about.
He goes, put yourself in Tatum and Jalen's shoes. Pretend KD hits you both up. Says he thinks you could win multiple titles together at Boston. Says he knows it's your guys and he's ready to buy.
He's not
you.
a Celtics fan either. He was rooting against us every series. He's a Nets fan. He's a KD and Kyrie fan. Miserable.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
He was on the trade smoter with Dennis Schroeder trade and was on it even after we were in the playoffs.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Meanwhile, this whole Dan Snyder stuff is crazy, isn't it?
This may be the stupidest hearing I've ever watched in my life. It's the
Wild.
dumbest thing ever.
Dan Snyder allegedly had an employee pour milk under the carpets in Mark Leonard's suite so it smelled like sour milk. What is wrong with these people? Like, who cares?
It's pretty funny.
bro?
I like that.
I mean, it's hilarious. Are you kidding me? That's an ultimate legend move.
Dude's
I mean,
just
Dan
not
Snyder's
shown
kinda
up.
ass.
He's not shown up to like 3 hearings, and they just talk about the most random shit at them. There was was it the Texas representative who went on a spiel about Tom Brady being wrongfully attacked for Deflategate, and then some dude asked like, "Why is Portnoy banned from NFL games?"
Bring
That
Portnoy
was
back,
so stupid.
bro. I mean, Dan Snyder's a jerk, but like, what are you gonna do? Like, he's a disgusting man. But what? What are you supposed to do? I mean, it's not like you can just take the company away. You can't. I mean, I guess they can force him to sell, but will they do that? Do you think? Probably not. And even if they force him to sell, it's still going to be worth a hell of a lot more money than it used to be. So he's still going to be making a profit anyways. I mean, I agree. Makes sense.
I wouldn't want him in the league. I don't think. But it's not up to Goodell. It's up to
Of the Congress, right?
it's up to the owners.
All right, they have a vote, right? It's a boys' club. They're never gonna vote. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They're never gonna vote about. I would highly doubt it. They don't really care. I think Robert Kraft really cares what he's doing. No.
It kind of
Well,
sets
we
a
are on the
precedent
clock
in a way,
officially.
for them to force other owners out. All you think, but we'll see what happens.
We are officially on the clock. Adrian Wojnarowski. Has he lost some weight or is that just me?
Probably has.
Good for him. Good for him.
All right. Do you want me to tell you what it is?
Is it on Twitter?
Shams just tweeted it.
Bro, why can I not see it?
It is not Chet Holmgren.
Wow.
It is not Jabari Smith Jr. It is Paolo
Wow,
Banchero.
wow.
It is an Orlando Magic.
Connor,
Now,
what do you think?
there still could be post-pick trades in case they're trying to now bait the Rockets into sending 17. But I don't know, man. It's looking like he's gonna be a
Magic.
a Magic. In other news, Alvin Kamara just got suspended 6 games. Interesting. But yeah, I mean, you're looking at the kind of Magic starting lineup now. You're probably going maybe Fultz or Cole Anthony at the 1, Suggs at the 2, Franz at the 3, Paolo at the 4, Carter at the 5, and then maybe you try to look for a trade partner for Jonathan Isaac. Could be an option. I think he can net you
So does
something.
Jabari
or he hasn't
Smith go at
played
2
in-
or just Chet Holmgren?
I think Chet
stay?
goes at 2. I wasn't prepping for this. I thought it was smoke screen.
Me too. I thought that Woj was just, doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? I thought Woj was just, you know what I'm saying? Woj was just making us feel.
That's crazy. It was Paolo was minus like 160 at like 10 a.m. this morning, and then by noon he was negative 10,000, and now it's not him. That's just wild. Now, I mean, the Rockets could end up completely screwed here if the Magic take Jabari. They don't want Chet. I think Thunder stick with their pick. I think Paolo is kind of rightfully the first pick. He's the best player in this draft. I mean, you're concerned with him sweating too much per game.
I agree. He is
Doesn't make
the best player.
And he definitely has top potential. I mean, as he described his game, similar to Jason Tatum coming in the draft, probably a bit slower, in terms of like lateral quickness, but similar to Jason Tatum. But yeah, you're looking at like Fultz, Suggs, Wagner, and Caro Carter. That's solid. You can now just let Mo Bamba walk.
By the way, his suit is very ugly.
Chet is still the front runner, but we'll see if anything happens. And there still could be a chance that like the Rockets want to trade up 1 pick just to secure,
Right.
just to secure Jabari
Well, because
Smith.
you gotta think teams now are calling. Who's on the clock now?
OKC. I don't know how many teams are calling OKC because I think they want one of those top 3 bigs, but they can be
Right.
like, well, we can take Jabari Smith here, type of thing. We'll see.
I think Paolo is a great player. I mean, he's fantastic in person, and if he can figure out, how to not lose as much weight during games, like
it's an,
that's gonna be a
it's an
huge
NBA
bonus.
training step.
Right. Yeah. They're showing Chet versus Paolo right now. Please don't show a Syracuse versus Duke play. That'd be bad. Please no. Thank God they didn't show one.
It could be. It'll be crazy if it's.
I mean, again, Chet was the best player. Like, he was the best player available, let's be honest. So,
Legion Hoops said it was.
they're showing Ben Simmons as a playmaker? Come on now. Ben
Simmons is an elite playmaker. He's one of the best playmakers in the league, Michael.
Shut the hell up.
He's
bro.
awful. He's awful at shooting and scoring, but he's really good playmaker.
I mean, yeah, when he plays,
He's a well better playmaker than Paolo. I mean, come on. He's a triple double guy.
Are you being sarcastic? I can't tell.
I'm not. He's a triple double guy. He
Yeah,
can't
but-
shoot the ball for crap. and it is Chet Holmgren at 2 per Shams. Legion Hoops gets their career ended after tweeting out it was Jabari Smith. Uh,
Really?
yeah.
Dude, you gotta get better sources. D1 freshman in the past 15 seasons has averaged 17 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, 3+ assists per game. Ben Simmons, RJ Barrett, Paolo Banchero, Paolo. I mean, you know, not the greatest company, I would say, on that. What else? What else are you thinking right now, Connor? So Chet's going 2, which is as we expected. So
I mean,
the Rockets
Jabari
probably
Smith,
go.
Jabari Smith has to go, you'd think. So we'll kind of see that means for them. But I mean, they're both shot creating fours through and through. So you're not mad about getting Jabari Smith whatsoever. I'm not the biggest. I have Jabari Smith 4th my big board, but he's still a top big man. I mean, it's kind of what you expected. If it's not Banchero at 1, you have Chet 2. It's just a swap. And I mean, there's still possibilities of that being traded. Now trying to force their hand if the Rockets really like it, and otherwise the Magic will fine with either. See, assuming it's gonna stay pat here, I'm just excited to get to pick 4 and see what's gonna happen. Things gonna cave and take Ivy, take a guy they like rather. We need the top 3 would be top 3. It's a different order than most expected, but your draft starts at 4.
I almost feel like the Rockets kind of get what they were expect, or probably maybe what they wanted. Do you think, or no?
I think they wanted Paolo the most, but I think they were happy with either him or with Jabari. They cared much of it too. I think Paolo would be much better in a pick and roll with kind of their guard play. But I don't think Jabari's bad. The one thing I don't really like Jalen Green and Jabari Smith together. That feels like 2 guys who only play for their own shots a lot of the time. And I don't know how well that would work with each other, especially as Kevin Porter's more of a scorer than a center. It seems just like a lot of scoring kind of packed into one lineup there, to me. But we'll see what they can kind of make out of that. But yeah, all expectations now are Jabari Smith.
Yeah, I mean that would make the most sense at the moment, wouldn't it? I mean that's kind of what I mean. Do you go best player available here, or do you kind of go for a Jalen Ivey who maybe fits a better role? I mean, is that what it's coming down to? Do you think?
I don't think they want anything to do with Jaden Ivey. Way too many. But I like Holmgren's suit. Pretty nice. I think it should be Jabari Smith, and if they don't like Jabari Smith, they would trade out of this pick and get value for it. Because there's no way you pick anyone but him.
No, I agree. Firmly agree on that.
But I mean, OKC get their defensive anchor they have not had since Steven Adams. Even him, he wasn't like the best anchor.
He was also injured a lot, wasn't he?
Yeah, a bit. But yeah, they have a lot of 7-foot white guys on that team now. Even just tall shooters, it's just an abundance. There's a Roby, Okashevsky, now at Holmgren. Even like Darius Baisley's a lanky shooting type guy. That team's pretty big. Well, I mean, you're probably running Shea, Giddy, Dort if he stays, Baisley, Chet, which I think is solid. You still have a pick at 12. See. The Orlando Magic did not have a formal workout or meeting with Paolo Banchero.
Really?
Interesting.
That's unreal, isn't it? So they have Chet's comparison as Kristaps Porzingis. Do you think that's accurate?
I don't think. I don't think Porzingis is a rim protector that well. First off, and I mean, it's a tall white guy. It's what I expected them to put as the.
They're now comparing him to Giannis.
I don't agree with that either.
I mean, are they just putting every big guy up here? Like, come on now.
Yeah, I don't like the Kristaps Porzingis Giannis one. Is like doesn't make sense at all. To me, I mean, completely different play style, completely different size. Giannis coming into when Giannis was drafted, I can see it. He was this lanky, playmaking, shooting, to basically run a point forward. But after his second year, when he put on a ton of muscle, it didn't really.
Now, let me ask you, do you think Chet has that ability to put on that much muscle or no?
I don't think he needs to. I think he needs to put on a bit, but he doesn't need to do what Giannis did.
Right, not like like Giannis needed to put that muscle on, otherwise he wouldn't be playing, you know what I'm saying? Like he wouldn't be playing, he wouldn't be a starter. So like that's kind of how I feel about it. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Porzingis just feels like too comparison, just all in. But I don't really. I mean, they're tall, they're white, they can shoot. That's. He's a better defender, better passer. I think he'll be better than
I agree. Excuse me. Sorry.
I definitely do think he needs to put on a bit of weight just to reduce chances of injuries, though. I agree with you on putting on some, but not like a Giannis level of just completely killing your jump shot from.
Right, because Giannis does not have a jump shot.
Giannis is incredible.
Hey man, but he gets those fouls, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
Pick is not in. It's taken a while.
Yeah, I'm scanning
I wonder
Twitter
if they're,
right now.
they're calling up the Magic or calling up other teams. I wonder how much they like Jabari. Because I don't think Jabari worked out for them. Jabari said, I'm working out for the Magic and the Thunder, and that's it. He bet on himself going top 2. So they might maybe not like that. I don't know. They might be like, we didn't see him, we didn't interview him, and now he's dropping. So do we want to take that? But
kind of crazy if he doesn't go top 3, though.
I think he will. Maybe they try to give up a bunch to get Paolo. Who knows? Because I mean, it sounded like the Magic were in on both of them and were good with both of them, and both atop the draft board. So we'll see. But there it is. Shams now says it will be Jabari Smith.
I mean, yeah, that's their best move right there. Let's be honest. Like, I mean, this was the best pick for them. I mean, regardless of whether he worked out for them or not, like this was his. This was their best move.
I'm waiting for a trade bump. If they don't pick Ivy and pick like Keegan Murray or something.
Man. I mean, I think
Kings doing.
Again, it's not the way we expected it to go.
But the top 3 is what you expect for the top 3. Just
right. Just a different. I mean, really, it was just switching 2 players.
Jabari Smith does not look happy.
I mean, he looks like he's like, damn, I just got picked 3rd.
His teammate Walker Kessler. Showing him clapping.
I mean, he probably was thinking I'm a lock for one, baby. A lock for one. He has forever humble tattooed on his chest, Connor. How ironic. I mean, yeah. I mean, listen, he's gonna be a Houston Rocket. I mean, he's definitely a very strong player. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I think it could work out very well. He is a very
I
good player. That's why he was being touted as the one for so long.
dream job if not basketball. I'm just waiting for there to be like Chris Webber, Penny Hardaway. I'm waiting for it. Wow, you moron, Sacramento. Oh my god, these guys. Jesus Christ. Keegan Murray. You could have. And fast, too. They did it immediately. The Kings kinged. This is one of those pitchers. This is one of those pitchers that'll come up in a few years next to Marvin Bagley 2, Luca 3, and stuff like that. And it'll be Keegan Murray 5 or 4, Jaden Ivey 5.
Jaden Ivey 5, yep. Who picks up 5?
It's the Pistons, and the Pistons are taking Ivy easily, in an instant.
Gonna have Cade Cunningham and Jalen Ivey.
Yeah, they can play next to each other, 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
Cade, Ivy, Bay, Bagley, Ayton. I love it.
I mean, they definitely getting somebody. That's for sure.
I mean, you were probably offered 3 first-round picks from the New York Knicks that you might have been able to trade back up to get pick 7 and still get Keegan Murray. And they decide to just use the pick. Oh, we want a win-now player. You could have got Julius Randle and a pick. And they said, no, we'll take Keegan Murray, which I like Keegan Murray. I'm a Keegan Murray fan. But you could have got so much more value for a team that is so desperate to make the playoffs that I just don't agree with it.
4 is a little high, isn't it? I mean, that's the way I feel about it. 4 is a little high for Keegan Murray. I mean, I know he's good, but
Keegan Murray, I think, was going top 5. I think if he didn't go 4, he'd go 5.
Yeah,
but I think it should have been top 4 draft. Top 5. I mean, that 3-1 was the only place I saw the top 5 switch, really. And the only other thing would have been potentially Mathurin at 5 instead of Keegan Murray for the Pistons. But I mean, wow. The Kings kinged. And Keegan Murray could be a great pick, but you had so much better value possible. You didn't even have to take. You did not have to take. You definitely did not have to take.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
So Jalen Ivey falls to 5 at least. We suspect the Pistons will take him, and that would make the most sense.
Yeah, it definitely. It'd be shocking if the Pistons don't take him. I mean, maybe they try to trade down or something along the lines. But it would be shocking if.
Yep, and they got Woj. Woj is not tweeting out right now.
I don't think I think they said don't tweet Woj. I don't think. I don't think Shams really cares.
Shams does not care at all.
Yeah, that just wow out of the Kings.
Hey man, the way it is.
Kings have no trade in. They have so many like big wings too. Metu, Terrence Davis, Harrison Barnes. I mean, that's just shocking. That's just shocking to me.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're probably looking at De'Aaron Mitchell, Davion Mitchell, Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray, Sabonis starting 5. I mean, he is the most NBA ready, but you could have got a more NBA ready All-Star caliber player for that pick and another pick. You know? But and there it is. Woj tweeted it.
Woj
Jaden
tweeted
Ivey
it.
scored
Whoa.
5. Man, the Rockets might be my second favorite. I'm sorry, the Pistons might be my second favorite team in the league. That is going to
Behind
be
the Celtics?
so fun to watch. Like Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, top of the key. Especially if they get DeAndre Ayton, the pick and rolls between those three. Sheesh.
Woj got the tweet in. Good for him. I can't believe they let him tweet it, quite honestly. Maybe he saw Shams and was like, forget this nonsense. Forget this nonsense. I'm gonna show you who the real insider is. I mean, that makes a lot of sense though. Again, Jaden Ivey, excuse me. Detroit's gonna be fun, man, and they're gonna be dangerous in a few years. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, that team is gonna be good. How many pieces do you think they're missing? Quite honestly, Detroit.
If Detroit can get a big man, a pure center, DeAndre Ayton, if they can just sign it, I mean, you can sign him straight up. Maybe the Suns don't match the max. But after that point, I mean, it's less about who they're missing and more about a waiting game guys to develop. They can be a playing team with that roster. All very young. I mean, your oldest player is what? Sadiq Bey at what, 23? Is Mervyn Bagley?
Didn't he have a
Mervyn
50-point
Bagley's
game
23.
earlier on this season?
Yeah, he's super inconsistent. But
Right.
like your starting five is all 23 or younger. I think Aiton's still 23 as well. Yeah, he is. So like your whole starting five is 23 and under, and all have potential out the roof. Two number one overall picks, the number one guard prospect in the draft, a number 2 overall pick, and then Sadiq Bey, who's a bucket. He was a first round pick. He was what, 2020 Brooklyn Nets pick that got traded here, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Hamidou Diallo is a good scorer off the bench. You still got Kelly O, a good play off the bench that could trade him, obviously. Beef Stew as your backup big. This also hinges on them pushing for DeAndre Ayton. They could even trade up and get Jalen Duran as well to be that starting center. But they need.
That'd be
I don't
crazy.
think Beef Stew is good enough to be a center on a contending team, and I think that's really the spot they're looking at this point. Now. So
the NBA, they get what, 5? They get 5 minutes to pick.
yeah, you get 5 minutes to pick.
That's
The
why
whole
it goes
first
fast
round.
in the NFL draft. Just shorter.
Yeah, and then I think
The
it's
NFL
less
drags
for the
it out.
second round.
Huh?
It's a bit less for the second round too.
Yeah, the NFL drags it out, man. That is a show. I don't know. I mean, I think the Pistons are going to be a good team. I mean, I think Detroit teams have sucked for such a long time now. It's kind of awful. You know what I'm saying? Like, every Detroit team is bad. Like, the Pistons have been bad. The Red Wings have been bad for a while. The Tigers are bad. The Lions are bad.
I think the Lions and the Pistons are two young teams on the come up.
Yeah. Well, that's what we said about the Tigers this year, and look what's happened. Nothing.
But they still have a lot of old players on that team.
It's true, but Javi Baez, by the way, is so good.
He's only good against the Red Sox. He has like a .15 ERA against every other .15 average against everyone else but the Red Sox. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
He's the Evan Fournier of baseball.
Yeah, the Ish Smith. But like they're still running Miguel Cabrera, who's freaking 40.
Yeah, but he's hitting well though this season. You can't say that. I mean, he's hitting well.
I mean, Barnhart's pretty old. I mean, Green has not been good.
They should be better. They should be better than 20.
Robbie Grossman's old.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but Miguel is hitting 299 on the season. Like that's ridiculous.
Only has 3 home runs though. Kind of shocking.
I know that's kind of odd, right? Because he has He's hitting 299. He only has 3 home runs. I mean, he has, how old is Jonathan Scoop?
He's like
30, so
25.
he's pretty old.
Scoop? No.
Yeah, Scoop is 30.
Oh, Scoop. I thought you said Scoop.
Yeah. Spencer Torkelson's a young 22-year-old. He's on the upward coming, and so is Javi Baez.
And they brought up Green, their number 2 prospect.
Right. And they have Clemens as well, Cody Clemens. Who's...
Ivy man.
Oh, it's a
Detroit
great pick.
basketball.
Detroit basketball coming alive again for sure. I don't know. It annoys me so much that how good the Celtics are, or sorry, how good the Red Sox are. And we're still in 3rd place now. We've literally won
and
so many games.
We're top 6. I was pretty close.
Your top 5, you mean?
Top 6. The Indiana Pacers snuck Benedict Mathurin.
Yeah, is that who you said?
That is who I said. I mocked this for the past few weeks. When even he wasn't even mentioned like top 10, like borderline top 10. I just it felt like such a fit on that team next to Tyrese, especially if they trade Malcolm Brogdon. But I liked it a lot. Here it goes.
mean, I think
now we could see the first trade with the Blazers on the clock. Obviously, Keegan Murray, their guy, is off the board, and
they're looking to get a
other
player.
guy is
right?
off the board. Probably a win now piece.
Right.
Could be OG Anunoby. Could be Lou Dort. Could be Matisse Thybulle. We'll see.
Absolutely.
If they stay on the clock here, I could see them taking Jalen Duran. And it's so weird because I'm so used to saying Jaren Duran for the Red Sox.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah.
But they could take him as the big man and let Nurkic kind of walk. Nurkic is obviously not completely made for modern basketball. He can't really defend the pick and roll that well. But we'll see. I mean, you could go more of a building piece. You could go Dyson Daniels. I've seen that mocked a bit. Kind of a backup point guard, a more defensive and playmaking minded guy rather than a shooter like Dane. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, how about Rob Refsnyder though? I mean, he's having a great season so far. In his limited action, right?
And then you got Jeter Downs, the best baseball player ever named Jeter.
That
stuff.
I mean, I don't know. The Red Sox are great. I mean, obviously Rafi's he's hitting 328 on the season with 16 home runs,
and he's
hitting 335. JD's hitting 326. Trevor's only hitting 223, but he's got
the fact that Rafael Devers leads the league in like hits and doubles, high average, and is at 3rd in All-Star voting is just
his WAR is 3.8, which is ridiculous.
All right,
like
I'm hoping we see a trade here, Evan. I'm waiting for a trade. I felt like it would have been at least 2 trades, but nothing yet. Which is the same thing that happened last year. It was not many trades at the top, and then like pick 10, the Grizzlies traded up for it, and kind of ricocheted a bunch of trades from there. Obviously Russ got traded. A bunch of stuff happened. Oh, Jamie's crying, man. He's so happy he's not a king. He's crying.
Imagine crying tears of joy that you're
not a king. And he went to Purdue. That's somewhat close to Detroit.
Yeah, I mean Indiana, Detroit. I mean that is pretty close. I mean it's not exactly Aiden Hutchinson close, but it's pretty close.
Shout out Joshua Yee. I think he could have made the basketball team if he tried out. Play with Ivy potentially.
Bro. Stop. So Connor, what have you been up to, by the way? How's your summer been so far?
I'm in school.
I know you're in school, but you have time out. You're in school, but you have time after.
Damn, I'm getting killed in fantasy.
I know, bro. I am too. Excuse me. I've lost points. Look at Alex Wood, man. Go to my team.
Oh my lord, Michael. 50 points?
Dude, I had more. I've lost 9 today. Look at my pitchers. Look at Alex Wood. He lost 17 points.
He got through one inning.
He got through 1 inning, gave up what?
6
6
runs in the second and got taken out.
I mean, he's horrendous.
Alright, nothing has been said about pick number 7. But you gotta think they're discussing trades. I like
absolutely.
Ben Matherin's suit is nice. You see that? Got a nice little fit there. Mess with it.
Yo, let's see a trade. Let's get something interesting going on here.
I hope an OG Anunoby trade comes. I think that'll be fun. Right now. Shaden Sharp is projected as the best player available. They're not taking Shaden Sharp much.
I don't think so.
Because he is the biggest project unknown in the draft, and they want win now guys. I can't imagine them taking Sharp, and I can't imagine them taking A. Those are the two that are just complete project. Usman Dang could have a jump here. He's definitely an issue. We'll see. I hope it's a trade. I think it will be a trade. I think they want to trade, but
I think they're definitely shopping now. Whether it's actually going to materialize into a trade or not, I don't know.
Depends on the value. Trades have been very undervalued so far. For them, how much the opportunity to get Shaden Sharp.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Big news.
What? I didn't see.
Oh no, nothing. Sorry, I've been looking for a Mac Jones red jersey for the past 2 days.
They haven't released them yet, have they?
No, well, they're on FanDuel. They're on Fanatics.
I don't trust that. The NBA
You don't think
official?
they're the actual ones?
I mean, if the NBA official ones aren't even out yet, how is that going to be NBA?
Let me reload. If I go to NFLShop.com, it's got to be official, right? That's official. You know what I'm saying? Looks pretty official to me. I don't know. What do you think? Men's New England Patriots Mac Jones Nike red alternate game jersey. Looks good to me. You think it's the official one now? It's the one for the upcoming season.
I don't think so because they haven't even released them. All they did is Patriots announced it on Twitter.
Yeah, you might be right. Because it's the same color though. It's the same color scheme. Let me look. Let me compare. It looks the same. I'll say that much.
God, I think it's fade, man.
I don't know, man. Looks the same to me. We go to the pro shop.
You see the Hustle movie, Adam Sandler's movie, the basketball one, but the Scout, pretty good.
I watched, is it really good?
I
is that where he
it.
plays a fat Italian guy?
He plays himself, but well, he looks like himself, but he's just
right,
Connor,
I'm at the Patriots Pro Shop, a Fanatics experience.
And they're there?
It's literally, yeah, the same jersey.
Maybe. I don't know. I thought they didn't release them yet. They just did the teaser thing.
I don't know, man.
Look on NBA Shop. Look on NFLShop.com or whatever.
I did. I looked at NFLShop.com. It's the same jersey every time.
That's probably it.
Let me send you a picture.
Wow, I am dead wrong.
No trade?
The Trailblazers would select Shaden Sharp.
Wow, Connor, there you go.
I mean, just a complete project player for a team that's so committed to winning now feels weird to me.
So were they the team that got Grant, or was that someone else?
They got Jeremy Grant.
So they got Grant. Now they signed.
I mean, Sharp will probably start at the 3 for them. A bit undersized to play the 3, but it's doable. So you have a lineup of Damian Lillard, Ant Simons, Shaden Sharp, Jeremy Grant, probably Yusuf Nurkic coming back. You got a few guys off the bench like Nas Little, who was injured at the end of last year. there. They have bird rights on Joe Ingles, who is a very good six-man to a contending team. They'll have Josh Hurt off the bench. Maybe they start Josh Hurt at Keon Johnson, the prospect from the Clippers. They have Eric Bledsoe's contract, which I assume they're just gonna cut. Justice Winslow, who was surprisingly good last year. But we'll kind of see where the Trailblazers go from there. But yeah, I mean he's 6'6". He can play the.
Yeah, I mean, again,
But
Connor,
he's a guy who's not played a minute of college hoops. He's a guy who barely played towards the end of his high school career. It just feels weird that they talk about being a win now team, hold the maybe greatest unknown of the whole draft. It just feels weird to me.
kind of doesn't make sense. See, now Connor, that looks like the jersey, doesn't it? I mean, tell me
Yeah,
that's
that looks
not
fine.
the jersey.
I think that's probably it. Are they? Do you know if they're wearing the Pat Patriot on the helmets? That's been
I think
announced.
they are, yeah.
Like they did in 2000 or whatever it was. Not
I hope they do.
would.
How about the Red Sox? How about the Red Sox wearing the
City Connects?
yeah, they're like insane in those.
Yeah, I mean, remember last year they went on like a 10-game win streak in them.
Yeah, they're undefeated
won.
this season in them.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So now we will have the New Orleans Pelicans on the clock. Some good prospects available for them. They could go to Daniels, get kind of a backup point guard or a starting point guard if you don't want to play point. Johnny Davis, a scorer off the bench. They could go Durant, kind of a center. Obviously, what's his name? The guy who got like kind of arrested or whatever. He was starting at power forward for Zion last year. Now it's just Jackson Hayes. He has whatever is going on with his legal thing, but he's a possibility for them to take back a big, depending on what happens to him. But yeah, you got good defensive. You got Jose Alvarado as a backup point guard. I don't think he'll ever be kind of a starter. So Dyson Daniels here, but I like.
They hope that Sharp is maybe like a better player.
He's just a complete unknown. You don't know what he could. He didn't play
maybe
at
they're
a high
hoping
level.
that this guy can be something.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe he can be something. He definitely has the skills to. But yeah, I kind of like their starting CJ McCollum at the 1, and then you had like Herb at the 2, Ingram at the 3, Zion, Valanciunas. So I don't think I don't love.
Okay, per Woj,
getting Daniels.
Dyson Daniels stands at the top of New Orleans draft board at number 8.
Take him. I would say get a guy like AJ Griffin to give backup like 4 for them, something like that. But if Dyson Daniels at the top, I can see it. Australian can't shoot as all Australians end up doing. But he went to the G League Ignite, played with like Jaden Hardy, and took his starting point guard role. It was a bit shocking, most, and he's kind of he's a bigger guard. He's like 6'6". Played well in G League Ignite, but guy can't hit a shot. He can't shoot. Which I mean, who knows how that works next to Zion and Joval there. I assume he's just going to run the bench unit. Maybe they trade Devontae Graham at some point this offseason and run like CJ, BI, Herb, Zion, Joval, bench unit of Dyson, Alvarado, Dyson, Nance, Hayes, Kira Lewis coming off it too. It's kind of my thought process, but they have a lot of guys. and, and I wish they would have went back up big. I think, but this is definitely could be something. I think you got to try to trade Devontae Graham to the Pelicans. He just doesn't fit with.
Sorry, I was just laughing because Barstool just put an article. So apparently, at the Met Gala, Kim Kardashian wore one of Marilyn Monroe's old dresses,
Yeah, I remember that.
and like, because like, it's just unreal.
Yeah, it
Kim
got
like
stretched out.
it got stretched out, so like diamonds were hanging off, so like they're not allowing her to wear any famous dresses anymore. Like, that's unreal.
It's an interesting couple days. Jewel got banned.
Yeah, Dyson Daniels officially at number 8.
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't love it, but it makes.
Right. Listen, if he's at the top of your draft board, I mean, you're gonna make that pick.
No, he's going to be a good player. They need to get him with a shooting coach as soon as possible. See if he's a shooter.
Mm-hmm. So is he a G leaguer?
He was on the G League Ignite. He wasn't like a didn't make it to league, went to the G League. He's on the competition G League that they made to combat college, basically. It's a thing that Jalen Green and Jonathan Kuminga were in last year. Jaden Hardy, who was the number 3 prospect coming into this year, maybe number 2, went there and kind of shit the bed.
Mm-hmm. All right, so who's at 9 then?
Number 9 would have we're gonna have the San Antonio Spurs. They've been linked to multiple big men. It definitely could be Jalen Duran, or maybe a guy kind of dropped to them that they weren't expecting to drop, such as EJ Griffin, Johnny Davis, Jeremy Shochan. It kind of fits a Popovich. I think it will be Jalen Duran. Is my guess.
Mm-hmm. You think they're gonna look for a big man?
Makes sense. Jakob Poeltl's gonna probably be on his team option, but last year of his deal, so who knows what's gonna come of that. And kind of you don't really have depth behind him at center. I mean you have plenty of depth at your guards and wings. You have DeJounte Murray, Trey Jones, Primo, Lonnie Walker, Josh Richardson, Devin Vassell, Romeo Langford. Then you got Calvin Johnson, kind of you set at the 4. Zach Collins is kind of more of a 4. They played Keita Bates-Diop a bit last year. Then you got Jakob Poeltl and maybe Zach Collins. And I guess Dougie McBuckets is somewhere. Dougie McBucket's still on the Spurs. I don't know. But he was last year.
So, you see the Grant Williams reaction to the rookie wide receiver dinner thing?
Yeah, that was funny.
Bro, they're gonna run up the bill $75K. And he was like, what? $75K?
They're not gonna do that to me.
They're not gonna do that to me. Bro, I was a number 10 pick. And they're like, yeah, they know you got money. They know you just had a $20 million contract. But like, seriously though, as Torrey Smith just put out, rookie dinners are BS. I'm glad I had an OG that realized teaching me to blow money is stupid. It does not prove you belong on a team. Shout out to Anquan Bolden. Dudes come into the league with no financial literacy and real problems, but folks think 50K dinners are cool. Nah. I mean, he's right about that though. Like, seriously, a lot of these guys come in and they just spend all of their money. Like, it's ridiculous.
Jason Daniels, similar to Ben Simmons coming out, probably worse. But ball handler, pocket passer, can't shoot, definitely baller. So we kind of see. Who would I compare him to? Malcolm Brogdon without a jumper. I compare. But he definitely has potential. Definitely has. up to it, but I don't know. I like him. I don't like the fit here, but I like him.
I don't know. We will see.
Where's it 9? My assumption, Jalen Duran. See.
This is the first time since 2014 that multiple Canadian players have been drafted in the same draft. Benedict Mathurin and Shadian Sharp. The last were
Oh.
Andrew Wiggins and Nick Stauskas. Before
Nick
that, Anthony
Stauskas,
Bennett
yeah.
and Kenny Olynyk. Nick, do you think he has a chance of ever being a starter or no?
What do you mean? You don't think he's going to start for the Celtics next year?
Do you think he will?
No. Doesn't have a chance to be. He's a shooter. Speaking of King's bad draft pick, this should front running. You're a shooter.
Right. They said Barstool Sports just put out Jaden Ivey is guaranteed to make the Hall of Fame.
I don't think I go
Whoever
that
the
far,
Kings
but
pick,
he can be an all-star pretty early in his career.
No, but like it's the Kings are always one pick away from greatness. Here, I'm gonna send this to you. Check that out. I just sent you.
That's
Yeah. I mean, literally though.
Jimmy Fredette. You remember Jimmy Fredette?
Bro, I don't know any of those guys on the left side.
You know Marvin Bagley.
I know Marvin Bagley. Outside of that,
Jimmy Fredette was a bucket. BYU, he was bucket for.
Yeah, but look who got picked after them.
He put up like
after
he had like a 60
Clay.
point game in college. Dude was insane.
Yeah,
Barack
but
Obama
Clay-
said he was like the best player in the country, bro. Like,
Bro, if you're listening to Obama,
it's so funny.
for your
And then he did nothing in the league.
draft analysis,
They
then you got a
traded
problem.
up with him. They traded like Sean Livingston and picks to get up with the Bucks, I think.
They did.
To get Jimmy Fredette.
The Spurs are taking Baylor Jeremy Sochan, number 9.
Bro, that I mocked that for so long, and then all reports were that they wanted a big. But yeah, he's Kawhi. Basically, he's the same exact mold as Kawhi coming into the league. He might not develop on offense like Kawhi did, but he's the best defender in basketball. He's big. He's long. He has great hands.
The question is,
Kawhi.
does he have the same laugh?
Probably not.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, if there's one comp, it's Kawhi coming into. Basically,
He's 6'9", 230. He's 19. He's
he
very
didn't
young.
shoot it terribly last year. But I mean, yeah.
He's got room to grow, though.
Yeah, I mean, that was Kawhi as well. Jeremy
He's
Shohan.
got room to grow. Bro,
I
do you
think he
Kendrick
is-
Perkins is a good analyst or no?
K-Perk? No chance. He's
Yeah.
awful at his job, but he's funny.
Okay,
That pick makes
That's
too
what I
much
thought.
sense. I've mocked that there so many times just because he just reminds you of Kawhi in every sort of way. He needs to develop a 3-point jumper and kind of a mid-range jumper, and then he can be very, very good. Best defender in basketball, in college basketball. Dyes his hair. I wonder if Pop would tell him to stop doing it.
Oh, definitely, bro. He's as soon as he gets to the org, he's gonna be like, "All right, we're shaving the head and you're growing your hair. Like we're starting over. Like for real. There's no shot he gets to wear that. He gets to change his hair color. No shot, bro. It's just like the Yankees. You can't have a beard. You play on the Yankees. And shaven.
But Jeremy Shohan, I mean, they still. I assume they might just try to re-sign. Might just try to re-sign Jacopoto to a longer deal. I wonder if you're gonna play. I feel like you got to trade one of those wings. Because I mean, maybe they trade DeJounte. That's been a rumor, but you probably don't re-sign Lonnie Walker and kind of move Keldon to the 3 and play Vassell at the 2. Is my immediate thought process. And then Wizards on the clock.
Oh, we have news. We have news. Sources from Shams.
Wait,
say
let me guess
Washington-
it. Let me guess it. It's Wizards, Dyson Daniels off the board. They're not going to go Ty Washington. Got to be Johnny Davis. Unless it's a
That is
trade.
correct.
There's
Johnny Davis will be selected at number 10.
Yeah.
We've made it through 10 picks, no trades, Connor. How about that?
Uh,
Not what we expected,
shocking.
is it?
Definitely somewhat shocking. But yeah, he's
In
a
other
young,
news,
scoring guard. He was very good at Wisconsin. Definitely led them a lot of ways. He's really good. He can bigger. He can grab rebounds. I talked about this in our mock draft stream. I talked about I really like his fit next to RJ Barrett, but they still need a point guard. Whether you go throw, oh sorry, we're on the Wizards right now. I was thinking it was the Knicks pick. But I still like him. I mean, maybe you trade Bradley Beal, but I don't see either of them being that good at the 3. But still, I mean, he doesn't play the 1. I mean, you can run Bradley Beal as a 1 and Johnny Davis at the 2 because Kuzma can play make a bit. Denny can play make a bit. You have Corey Kispert off the bench. You're probably trying to trade KCP, make Denny a starter because you kind of need defense. Rui Hachimura out there, but I think they run Beal at the 1 if they retain Beal, and run Davis at the 2. I like that.
yeah, I mean, for sure. You know, again, I think that drafts never go the way we think.
So now with the Knicks, they could go best player available AJ Griffin, which is something that kind of makes sense for them to do.
Do you think they'll trade at all? Like, do there's a chance?
They could, but I mean, they were really looking to trade up. They could trade down. I heard there was a rumor with the Grizzlies.
Right.
They could trade down with them. The Grizzlies always trade up in heavy draft. But yeah, I don't really know what they do here. I definitely think there's an opportunity to take really good wing that can develop well in AJ Griffin, but if they're committing to if they're really committing to winning, they could trade this pick for Malcolm Brogdon or Mike Conley or
Right.
I mean they're looking to clear cap space to throw Jalen Brunson a contract. There's not a chance that the Mavs don't match that. To me, I mean, it just makes sense. So we see what happens. They liked Ivy and Sharp. So did the Thunder, and both of them are off. So we'll kind of see if it comes of it. Let's see who they go with. If I were to guess, I'd guess Adrian Griffin Jr. Dad was in other piece I could see. I'll say Ousmane Dieng. Just got a wing, not a point guard on the board. You're not taking Ty Washington. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'd say.
Oh my God, Connor, the Yankees are losing.
Yeah,
oh my God,
the Astros are nice, which
so
sucks.
Jordan Alvarez is so good,
which sucks because I'm going against Framber Valdez.
Dude, Jordan Alvarez is so freaking good.
Let's see what happens.
So good. So good at the game of baseball.
The Knicks
right.
are still in pursuit of acquiring Ivy even after Detroit selected the Purdue combo.
I don't think they're gonna give him up.
I
though.
very much don't think.
I really don't think they're gonna give him up.
I mean, you're not giving up RJ Barrett probably, so you should have thrown balls at the wall to the Kings. Is what you should have done. I think it's too late now. Detroit's not going to give up a prospect like that. They don't need win now guys. There's nothing you really offer them that'll entice them that much.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the Knicks' pursuit of Ivy depended on which players were still there at 11. I'm going to assume that anyone on board here. Unless they want Duran, but they wouldn't give up Ivy. I think they're more likely to trade back up to get Duran. I mean, if Duran hasn't gone, you don't expect the Knicks to take him because they want to re-sign Mitchell Robinson.
Right.
So you could see Duran falling to, I mean, pick 12. OKC could definitely take him, but I mean, the Hornets have a chance to get Duran as their center. That's really good. So I could definitely see someone giving up future picks to try to get up to 12
Mm-hmm.
to try to get Duran. Unless the Thunder want him, but they just picked Chet, who is more of a center, so it doesn't really make sense. But watch that 12th pick. I don't expect the Knicks to take Duran just because they want to re-sign Mitchell Robinson. So watch that 12th pick for trades. And if not, the Hornets just had a really good draft to get Duran.
Mm-hmm.
Have them fall to 13. Let's see. Oceanowski was telling me there's going to be a ton of trades in this draft.
Whoa,
What's
you're
going
letting us
on?
down.
What's going on, Woj?
You see Spike Lee's talking to Jaden Ivey. Spike Lee being endlessly depressed by the Knicks.
He's
is so
probably
funny.
telling him to up the trade. I see you retweeted that. That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good set of lottery picks, honestly.
Wait, what did I retweet?
The Wizards lottery picks.
Oh yeah, I mean it's on. I mean John Wall, Bradley Beal. I mean good company.
Otto Porter, they got paid like 25 mil a season because he played so. The Bulls paid him after he played so well for the Wizards. Louis had potential before his mental collapse, and I like Denny a lot. Good defender, good passer. Shoot it. It's likely John Collins remains with Atlanta past tonight. He's starting to become the new age Miles Turner, where he's just put in every rumor at every deadline to get traded. Mike, are you still there?
Yeah, sorry. Barcelona just put out something gross, so I'm just reading it. Sorry. Yeah, I get distracted. Yeah. So nothing has happened. I mean, we talked about Johnny Davis, right?
Yeah. Knicks,
Yeah, I
we're
mean-
talking about Knicks probably trying to throw balls to the wall to get Ivy right now. I don't think it happened. We'll see. Waiting. Oh, there it is.
What?
New York Knicks select Ousmane Deng. Pick 11. He was talked about jumping up draft boards as of late. He's on the New Zealand Breakers. Probably a shooting power forward. I mean, he had a really good combine. AJ Griffin, somewhat expectedly falling in the draft.
Mhm.
But-
Do you like that? Do you like the Deng pick? Do you think this would happen?
I think the Yang makes sense here. I won't say whether I'd probably higher on AJ Griffin, but I think Yang's still a very good prospect. I believe he's French. And he just exploded this year. Saw him at the 2019 he played well. Him and Wembemayana, the clear cut, easily number prospect next year. They played with each other. They won the gold that year. That's when Jason Tatum got injured in the FIBA Cup. A lot of current Celtics were on it. Steve Kerr coached it. Yeah, NBL guys. I mean, since and before LaMelo, but LaMelo kind of kickstarted bringing that league. There are three guys that with our Hampton 2 in the draft, just getting a lot more love recently, and Yang kind of jumped up in the past week, I'd say. Completely jumped up. Draft board, combine. Very good shooter. What he can become on the Knicks, I don't know where he really fits in. Probably just a backup small forward. You have like a, depending on who you trade, but you have Quickly, Quentin Grimes, Yang, Toppin, Jericho Sims as your second unit, which is really young. Could be solid. There's still an absolute desperate need for. Oh! It's a trade! That makes more sense.
Oh my god, a
The
trade!
Knicks are moving Ousmane Dieng to the Oklahoma City Thunder,
Wow.
who are on the clock next.
Shams won it by 1 second, by the way.
But that's the thing. I pick Woj over Shams because Woj gives more information.
Yep.
But still haven't seen what the trade for. But yeah, I mean, two tall, lanky shooters for OKC. So we could see a lineup where you got Okajewski at the 1, Chet Holmgren at the 2, Isaiah Roby at the 3, Darius Baisley at the 4, and Ousmane Dieng at the 5, or some order of that. We just got these. Spike Lee is pissed. The Thunder were sent multiple first-round picks to New York, so the Thunder might still be on the clock right now. If it's multiple first-round picks. I don't know, man.
Wait, how far ahead of you are, or how ahead of you are in the broadcast? Where are you?
Alright, Ousmane Dieng's walking up to the stage to get his hat. The Knicks hat.
Oh,
They give him the Knicks hat, even though he's no longer a Knick. Because they always do that. It's like Luka with the Hawks hat.
right.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense to me. I wonder if the Knicks are on the clock now, or if OKC's sticking. This is my big. Because moving up one pick, you're probably just giving up one. Probably some team that's going to be good first in a couple years. And there's so many firsts. But I didn't think you needed to move up one to get Dieng here, unless the Knicks were looking to trade back.
So wild to see Luka in the Hawks hat, by the way.
I love
Unreal.
those, the hat madness. We'll see what the trade details. Lucia said multiple firsts.
It's definitely not 12 then. If you're not saying multiple first to move
Well,
up one pick.
you send to go up one, you send a future first.
Yeah.
You send this pick 12. I just want to see if he talks about being a Knick.
Yeah, I'd love to be a Knick. Me and Nick would be awesome.
Oh no, it says
It's the dream of a lifetime to be a Knick. Oh, they already put it up. Proposed trade to OKC.
Ababaka. That's a sick name. Ababaka Dieng. Yo, you see the dad's face when she said you're heading to Oklahoma City? Oh, that was funny. Yeah. I just wanted to hear what he said, but still no news on the trade. I mean, but to get
Wait,
up
from
one
Chet?
spot, they'll probably send.
Wait. Chet's dad or who?
No, the Ushman Dangstad.
What did he do? I didn't see it.
He just looked dead faced after she said you're going to Oak.
Bro, but why?
He probably doesn't understand how like the trades work and stuff. He's probably like, I thought it was New York. He's clearly not an English.
New York's a bigger market,
He's
but
clearly not an English speaker. He might have just been.
yeah, no, he's definitely probably French, right? You think?
He's but still no news on what the picks are. I want to know if this is. It's seeming like this is still OKC's pick, but typically to move up one, I mean, you'd move the pick as well as a future highly protected that might convey to 2 seconds. What that pick would be, it'd be like, I mean, what they've picked. Oh no, they're on the clock and they will pick Jalen Williams at 12.
Wow,
Another
so
huge riser in the draft. The point guard, combo guard,
so OKC
out of
had
Santa
three,
Clara.
OKC had 3 selections in the first 12 picks. It's unreal.
And Jaren Duran right now is on the board at 13. But
OKC had
I mean,
3 selections. Some teams don't even have 1.
a huge jumper after in the past couple weeks. He was not expected to be a first rounder, and now he's a lottery guy. He was solid at Santa Clara, but once again at Santa Clara they don't play great competition. But then just separated himself from the other wings in his position at the combine and jumped up so high. 39%.
Literally and figuratively.
I mean, he shot at 39% from 3, but he still needs to somewhat work on his 3-point shot. Definitely needs to work on defense, but, I mean, and okay, here's Woj. The Thunder still have the 12th pick. It isn't part of the Knicks trade.
Thanks, Woj. Appreciate you.
But yeah, I mean, he just jumps up so high from being a early second round pick as of right before the combine.
Connor.
And it's 2 guys that just jumped.
Connor, is by any chance can you play this video I'm sending to you? Can you play this tweet? Can you pull it up?
Where'd you send it on?
I just texted to you, but I also retweeted it, so it should be the last one. So funny. Did you see it? This is the perfect representation of the Knicks. Oh, I'm sorry, of OKC right now. I mean, it's just unreal how many picks they have. Now, Chet's like 1 of 3, bro. He's literally 1 of 3.
Figuring out which pick to give and
Bro. Legit, they have so many.
showed.
Hashtag we love Bleacher Report, man.
That's right.
Well, the first round actually got a little bit more interesting.
Yep. And Pressy cashing in some picks. B players.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to at some point, right? And this was the draft they decided to do it in. So kudos to him for.
I think they're only a year or 2 away from just throwing like 5 firsts in a trade for a player. Throwing balls to the wall for a guy. And I think it's not that far away. They have the piece. Shea is very, very good. Giddy is going to be good. Jordan, although he has to get paid soon, is still good. I think you got 2 guys that are definitely projects, but could be very good. Just a lot going on. And I like it. Once again, Terry Eason is still on the board. If he falls a bit further, there's definitely a chance you could see the Celtics kind of making a move.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I can't imagine the Hornets don't take Jalen Duren here. I know Cavaliers probably don't take a center at 14, and you could risk it going to 15, but I don't see it happening. I think you just take the guy and, and don't risk someone trading up because has room to be sharp in this pick. You don't want to risk a team trading up. I mean, it would be the Pistons. The Pistons would trade up to 14 to get Jalen Duran if the Hornets don't take that. That would be my guess. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, we'll see what happens. But the draft just got a little bit more,
lot more
interesting. Yeah,
A lot more fun.
a lot more fun. We got trade. OKC's now picked 3 players. The Hornets now on the clock.
They're looking to trade one of these to get off. I mean, if they don't want Duran here and they're like, we'll settle for Mark Williams, you could see at this pick 13 them getting off Gordon Hayward's contract again to the Pistons, and the Pistons could say, "We'll buy you out, buddy, if you want to." Actually, I'm gonna ask my Pistons friends about that.
I mean, it would be a good move, I think, right? 'Cause the Pistons
I wouldn't
still aren't,
mind
you
it.
know, they're really not playoff ready almost, and you might as well get a pick if you can.
I also see the Pistons saying, "Whatever, we'll wait and we'll try to go at DeAndre Ayton." That's not a surefire deal. They could still sign and trade like Kelly Olynyk, Hamidou Diallo over there.
By the way, Rory McIlroy leads the Travelers Championship at -8, tied with JT Poston.
Always
Well,
leads early. The past like 5 tournaments.
I know he's kind of fallen off.
Choke job. Does this
knows?
tournament include LIV guys or no?
I don't think so. Because it's Travelers Championship, so I don't think it's we don't like live golf. No, not a fan. Not a fan.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm intrigued on how like the shotguns. I don't really like the.
No, I just don't like it. Period. No, I can't say why because we're on YouTube, and I also don't want.
Oh, is
to
it
piss
where
off
the
any
money comes
Saudis.
from? You don't like
Well,
it?
I don't want to piss off any Saudis. I don't want to piss off any kings or stuff like that. So, I feel like, who knows? One day, I mean, you never know. So, I feel like I just shouldn't say anything about it. I mean, that's how I feel about it. I mean, privately I'll say stuff, but YouTube, man, hey, that stuff's up there. You never know. You never know. Could be banned from Saudi Arabia. Who knows? And I want to go to.
Nice in my face split. Wonderful. Alright. What, did Saudi come after you?
Yeah, I mean, almost, right?
You just said I don't want to piss off the
No,
Saudis. He's
closed
just
out the
gone.
tab.
He's just gone.
I just closed out the tab. But how like
that
that
was
was great
funny.
timing though, wasn't it? Great timing. I just closed. I was trying to switch to the Twitter tab, and I accidentally clicked out of it. Connor was like, "Oh, well, they got to him. We're gonna be ending the stream now."
Charlotte will pick Jalen Duran. 13.
Jalen Duran. Not.
It still could be traded. That's what happened with the 11th pick. We didn't find
Yeah.
out till after.
See, I don't like that though. I wish they would just trade the player, like trade the pick and then select.
Let's see what happens. I mean, the Hornets could also be like, hey, we didn't expect him to get down this far. He's good. We're going to take him. But I heard them liking Mark Williams a lot as well. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
Because the way you get off Hayward right now is sending Duran with him to but maybe they're just like, hey, we'd rather just keep Duran for ourselves, kind of see what happens. Mike Williams will probably be the next center off the board. See, I expected Durant to go up higher. See, as the Cavs are on the clock, the Cavs have been looking to trade this pick for a win now player. But there's a lot of options. One I like the fit with them a ton is Ochai Agbaji from it. I really think he'd fit in super well with that team. So we'll see if they end up going with him. Or they want to go with someone else, like AJ Griffin has dropped in the draft. He's more a project player for win now team, but I mean, he's fallen further than expected. Terry Eason could also be a possibility. Those are kind of the three names. All three are wing players. Those are the three I don't think they go point guard or combo guard. I don't. Hornets have traded Jalen Duran. Wait, okay. Shams just tweeted Durant to the Knicks. Woj just tweeted Durant to the Pistons.
Right. I mean,
so where's he going? First
off, you screenshot both of them. And then you hold on to it because one of them's wrong, and then
I have to think that it's Wojnarowski's right because that pick made too much sense. I'm just sending them to you so you can put them on the stream. Yeah, I'll pull them both up.
I send them to you in the same one, and then I send them to you in separate.
I'm just saying he's traded to the Knicks. If I just go to Woj here, see that Woj is saying the Pistons are acquiring him. If the Pistons acquire him, it would be in a trade. In a trade, obviously we just talked about it. I just mocked it where they sent Gordon Hayward's contract. If the Knicks get him, we'll see. Okay, Fisher says he's being rerouted to Detroit. Underdog said to the Knicks.
Shams.
So this is kind of crazy. What is happening? Who is right? Who is right?
It's not really the question. I don't think is who is right, but it's who is wrong.
I have to think Woj is right, just because that trade, that getting off Hayward, Durant's a guy that the Pistons have wanted, but Durant has also been a target for the Knicks. But if you're the Knicks, why not take him at 11 and not worry about getting a future first super protected from OKC? You know what I mean? And that's why I'm very intrigued.
I'm intrigued too. I want to see
if they show who it is. With their ESPN, they probably trust Woj.
Right.
I don't know, man. I'm waiting for one of them to tweet that they're wrong. Neither have deleted it. So, and Cleveland will pick Ochai Agbaji according to Shams, which I just talked about. Why he's such a good fit there. Why it makes sense. I don't care right now. I want to know who's wrong. I want to know who's wrong. I don't care. Is this a getting off? I mean, maybe they both had offers. Is this a getting off of Gordon Hayward, or is this a Knicks getting their center?
Will I have a new banner on my Twitter page? That's the real question.
You know Keith Smith, the Celtics reporter?
Yeah.
He tweeted out, per a source, Jalen Duran will play in the NBA next year.
You will play either in Detroit or in New York.
Wow, I've never seen something like this.
This is wild.
Woj tweets out that Cleveland is locked on Ochai Agbaji. What is happening? I mean, you have to think now that they're trading it, that pick 15 will be Mark Williams, is my assumption. But who has Durant? And neither of them are upping it. Both of them are just talking about Ochai Agbaji. Neither of them said, like, were wrong.
And Woj,
The
like,
Knicks
said,
are
like,
trading Kemba Walker to Detroit. Sources tell The Athletic.
which
So this is a
Kemba to
3-team deal where the Pistons get
Oh.
Kemba, but who gets Duran? So this is my thought process. The Knicks are taking on 2 bad contracts, Gordon Hayward, Kemba Walker, to take on Duran. Okay. Shams clarified. The Knicks acquired Jalen Duran, moved him with Kemba Walker to the Pistons. Who did the Knicks get then? Yeah. Because then it's not a Gordon Hayward dump.
Ah.
Then it's, I mean, Shams is just
Bro,
backtracking.
bro,
So
bro.
Woj got the dub. But what
But Woj didn't get the full
if the
dub, though.
Pistons only had to take on the Kemba Walker contract and not the Gordon Hayward contract to take this on, and they still have a max slot waiting, full max, waiting for DeAndre Ayton. I mean, I don't know what to say.
I mean, Woj didn't get it fully right, though. He got part of it right. He got the second
And I'm
part.
sure the Pistons will buy out Kemba.
All right, but the real question is, who does Jalen Duran play for?
Right now, it sounds like the Pistons.
Does
But-
he get both hats? Does he get 3 hats?
No, he gets the that Bleacher Report tweet he tweeted is funny.
I know.
He
I know.
gets-
It's so funny.
He gets the
Oh, imagine you're
the
him
Hornets
at the
hat.
draft. You're
But who are the Knicks getting from the Hornets? Is it a Gordon Hayward thing? Why would you take on Gordon Hayward just to trade the guy away? Is it maybe like PJ Washington or Kelly Oubre? I need to know.
We need to know. This is what you guys. This is what Shams and Woj are
Woj, take
for.
your L and tell us what the whole trade.
Oh, here we go. The Pistons are sending the Hornets 2025 first-round pick via Milwaukee in the Jalen Duran trade.
So
Sure got that pick.
they're just moving that Milwaukee pick. So Hornets
Yeah.
are getting that Milwaukee pick that the Pistons got for Jeremy Grant,
Yep.
but they're saying sending to the Hornets.
Pistons are sending the Hornets the 2025 first-round pick.
So Woj is under the assumption that the Knicks aren't still a part of this,
I
because
don't know.
so they're just trading for another pick, whatever, sure. But how does everything else come in? Are they getting off of Gordon Hayward? Are the Pistons taking on Hayward and Kemba? Celtics teammates? Celtics legends?
Are the Celtics involved in this trade?
Hope not. Are they just gonna buy out both of them? What the hell is going on?
Chaos ensues at the NBA draft as Shams and Woj. Neither of them have the story.
Did the Knicks just get in to get Gordon Hayward? Why would you want Gordon Hayward? To add to their
It's the
slew of
Knicks,
awful
bro.
contracts?
It's the Knicks.
What is happening? None of this makes sense. It doesn't make sense. It seems like either one or the other, where it's a salary dump with this pick. Okay, but talking about O'Shea Abaji, I've mocked it everywhere. Made too much sense. We kind of talked about it already. Hornets now back on the clock. Need a center. Got a center. Traded him away. Will they take the other center and keep him? Or did they just get a center from Detroit or New York? Who knows? This is why I can't predict this pick, because I don't know what the heck that trade was.
You can't talk about the pick when you don't know what's happened.
And they're picking center Mug Williams! What is happening?
Bro.
So you take the 2 top centers, you ship one out there so you can take the other. I'm so confused.
Why? Like, why would you do that?
I'm so confused.
Doesn't make sense, bro.
Someone tell us the full trade. Are they now going to trade Mike Williams away?
I mean, who knows? Connor, check out what I just retweeted. The Spike Lee and Stephen A. praying, while the Knicks may have just signed Gordon Hayward, just taking him on for nothing. Why is Neesmith trading or in trade talk? I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense.
They do local talks. Brad Stevens a lot. Like Massachusetts trends that.
Yeah.
Oh, what did the Hornets just do? Charlie Eason is on the clock. Be on the lookout for Celtics trade up if he doesn't go 16 here to the Hawks. AJ Griffin is falling far. Who knows who wants him? This is a guy who was top 5 heading into the year. It sounded like the Knicks wanted him, and now it's like, where is he going? As no one knows. The Rockets like Eason at 17, so if the Celtics were to trade back up, 16 here would be the spot. The Hawks have wanted Marcus Smart for the longest time. You're not trading him for 16 unless you get John Collins back, but even then I wouldn't do it because they're both power forwards. That doesn't make sense. Maybe, I don't know. But I'd expect... I feel like AJ Griffin fits for the Hawks, and then the Rockets would take Eason at 17. But really, I have no idea. Okay, so now Woj said Troy Weaver got Jalen Duran for only a future first, which means they're probably not taking on the Gordon contract, just the Kemba one, which is much, much smaller. But what do the Knicks get at? Why are the Knicks involved in this?
Why exactly? That's what I don't understand.
Are they taking on Gordon? Are they just trying to?
But why would they take on Gordon for what?
I mean, well, a decent player, a small forward to help them win. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. And then they send back like they send back like the Fournier contract and maybe the Burks contract to the Hornets. Which are more tradable contracts for them, as well as not one big contract. I don't know what's happening, but Kemba was only making like $9 million, which really just doesn't feel like a huge thing. And with $9 million, you had $56 million. You still have a full max to offer DeAndre Ayton if you want to. You still have Durant, who can be your future center.
Honestly, it kind of feels like to me that the Pistons will probably play Kemba a good amount too.
No, they won't. They won't play him a minute.
Yep.
They won't play him a single minute. Me?
You think they're gonna buy him out?
Yeah, they're buying him out instantly. He's not gonna play.
So what happens after a buyout?
Another team signs him to the minimum, basically. I mean, you got Killian Hayes, Corey Joseph. You have a lot of guards there. There's no Hamidou Diallo, probably shooting guard. They got my guy Carson Edwards, who was awful on the Celtics. Frank Jackson, who's pretty young. You just have a ton. Saban Lee, I forgot about. He's a great young point guard. There's a lot of guys there. You're not playing Kemba whatsoever. He's going to get bought out. We'll see.
Kemba back to Boston as backup point guard, question mark?
No. God, no. God, no. Please, God. But yeah, Hawks are on the clock. Good notification. AJ Griffin.
There you go.
He fell, and the Hawks are like, we're going to take best player available. We're going to get him. We're going to get him.
Rockets wanted him at 17, got taken at 16.
Rockets want Terry Eason.
Oh, my bad.
Which they definitely could take now. But there's some other droppers still on the... I guess, is dropping it. But my expectation is that it'll be Eason. That it'll be for the Houston Rockets, unless trade comes apart. Maybe the Celtics do some crazy stuff and take on Eric Gordon as well or something.
Are they giving a WNBA comparison?
What?
For who?
What do you mean a WNBA?
They're doing a WNBA comparison for women's.
So let me just talk you through this. the Celtics attached a pick to get off of Kemba's contract, a first round pick, and then got back Al Horford, as well as ended up getting back Josh Richardson. And the Knicks seemingly got off Kemba's contract at 30 mil cheaper for a whole first round pick alone. I mean, what a masterclass by Brad Stevens.
Hashtag Brad Stevens, hashtag GOAT. Hashtag we don't need Kemba.
So you'd expect, getting AJ Griffin here, you'd expect the Hawks to explore a trade of one of their wings. And whether it be DeAndre Hunter, Kevin Huerter, who's kind of smaller than those guys, but Gallinari, he's only nice at a $5 million cut him. But John Collins has been steadily in trade rumors. Bogdanovich, just a ton of wing players. Jalen Johnson, who they just drafted in the first round last year and just didn't play. Same thing that like the Suns did with Jalen Smith, but just
Connor, can you play this? Can you share that tweet with the fans right now? That's just the perfect explanation for how Knicks fans are feeling right now.
Oh, it's those guys. Yeah, I can pull it up.
Knicks acquired Jalen Duren and moved him with Kemba Walker to the Pistons?
Wait, what are we doing? We got the big man of the future and moved him to the Pistons.
Wait, what?
Didn't the Pistons get someone else?
No, the
Pistons just took Jalen.
No, who just took Jalen Duren?
Someone else threw the Knicks. It's all getting complicated. And Abaji
Bro, they
just got
literally have
traded.
no idea
One
what's
of our
going
favorite
on. It's
prospects.
So funny.
Wait,
I mean, to be fair, so do we.
Or Knicks fans, if they really just traded for the guy that they wanted and then unloaded him to get off of Kemba. I mean, what? What are you doing if that is truly the case?
Bro, we all know. We all know that's not gonna happen.
And the Rockets are focused on Tari Eason. Matt, if you're gonna make a move, make it now.
Alright, let's go.
Otherwise, your guy's gone. I still want to know what the hell the Knicks got. The Knicks get nothing?
They got nothing. I'm
Did
telling
they
you.
literally
got
just
nothing.
trade for Durant to get off a contract?
I guess so. But why would they want to get off that contract?
Well, it's an awful con. 8 mil for Kemba. He can't even play. His knees are shot. Sham says they
Connor,
will pick
just remember
Tari
this.
Eason at 17.
Connor, for every good New York draft, there must be one bad one.
Sham said they will pick Tari Eason. Obviously, as we've seen with the past couple picks, there's still opportunity for that to be traded. But I'm kind of expecting them to keep Tari Eason.
Yeah,
they
I
do
kind of
need a
expect them
wing.
to keep it rather than trade it.
And Brad won't get his claws in.
I think that the Celtics at this point will probably be done with the first round. That's at least my kind of.
They could come in late. They could get a prospect. Jake LaRavia to be a stretch for. I wouldn't mind Nikola Jovic either. They're late.
Bro, I want Nikola Jovic.
Wendell Moore is
to
one
go
of my
to the Nuggets.
Wendell Moore out of Duke is one of my favorite late in this draft. He does so much well.
The Nuggets need to pick Jovic.
The one thing with Eason is plays a very similar role to Jabari Smith, who you just. I guess you could run him at the 3, just be a defensive guy instead of like Jayshawn Tate, and obviously Kenny might wants to get traded. Like Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Terry Eason,
Absolutely.
Alvin Caro, Alvin Shangoon. I really don't. Those Jabari Smith and Eason next to each other. I love them both as prospects, but they're quite similar. I don't really know what the. And now you have another defensive wing who look there. You already have DeAndre Hunter.
Dun, 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 dun.
I mean, are they just not in on Jayshawn Tate?
Mhm. Oh, there's a new show.
Do we still not have the full grade at all?
No.
Shams is getting smoked. Like,
Yeah.
like Woj didn't even tweet the first 4 picks, and he's still smoking them. Yeah, with Terry Eason going to the Rockets, that leaves the Bulls on the clock. Could look for a Rudy Gobert trade that has been commonly rumored, and most execs expect Rudy Gobert to be a Bull. If not, you're probably looking at a guy like EJ Liddell, the big man out of Ohio State, to fill that kind of big man role, backup big man role. So badly need. Other options are like Walker Kessler, but I don't think they probably like it much. Right now, it's a guards draft. With Malachi Branham, Ty Washington, Kennedy Chandler, Blake Wesley still up there, Dalen Taylor, who's a very larger point guard, and Bojan Beauchamp, the same thing, and then you Hardy the follower. Like, top of this board is all guards right now. Which is somewhat shocking to where it's usually an abundance of wings in recent drafts. But we'll see what happens. Got a couple of teams with like the Spurs back up at 20. They already took Sochan, so you expect them to maybe want to guard. Maybe if they trade DeJounte, maybe still can get a center. I don't really know what they're gonna do. I'd trade them, honestly. They still have 25 as well. Abundance of at this point. See that?
Do we know who's going at 17?
Yeah, Terry Eason.
Got you. And what about 18? Any word on that yet or no?
Not yet. I said there could be a trade with the Jazz for Gobert. Who knows?
We'll go here till about
The
10,
Knicks are taking
10,
one last serious push at Ivy, laced with picks from the OKC trade that happened. And they just traded Durant to the.
Oh, they want Ivy bad.
Pistons. Could that have been an Ivy trade?
Maybe.
Kemba Walker and the Pistons are expected to discuss a contract buyout. I bet you he's a Laker and he's gonna suck. I want to know the full trade details. Because right now it's sounding like the Knicks traded nothing to get nothing, and now, or the Knicks traded nothing to end up with getting off just 8 mil on just 8 mil Kemba, and then they get then the Hornets just get a future 2025, probably late 20s first round pick. And
it doesn't make sense, but we know the Knicks
there
got
has
something.
to be something out. The Knicks do not send the guy they want just to get off of 8 mil. You could have done that with Evan Fournier, 17 freaking mil. The
Fournier.
The Chicago Bulls will pick Dalen Terry at number 18. He
Who's
is
that?
a bigger defensive wing.
Did
out
you
of
talk about him or no?
I did talk about him. I had him. Let's see where I had him mock. If I have it up, I had Dalen
Guys,
Terry.
if you didn't know, Connor's pretty darn good at this.
I had him mocked to the Bucks. I had like Ty Washington, Mojan Beauchamp over him, but he's a lot bigger. He's like Giddy of last year, you'd almost say, in terms of size as good. He's not going to be a scorer, which the Bulls don't really need. He's more needs to learn how to shoot, but I mean a good defender, good. Very good defender. You think almost Scotty Barnes a bit smaller. Basically, I like him a lot. I didn't expect teams to like him a lot, so I had him go further. But I think it's a good pick. They still kind of need a center. You don't really trust Vucevic, but I mean Ayo Dosunmu was good last year, and you could still run him as kind of a backup one, but still have some extra playmaking on that backup lineup. You can run like Ayo, Caruso, then Terry technically, then Javonte Green, and whoever they get as backup center. See, they also have to re-sign Zach LaVine. There's not a guarantee they will, and he can kind of be that backup guard if you want to move Alex Caruso to the starting lineup if you don't get back LaVine. But at that point, I would just blow up the team if you don't get back LaVine. I would trade DeRozan. I would trade Vooch. I would maybe trade Lonzo. Maybe Caruso as blow up the team. If you don't get back LaVine, you're not going to compete without.
I agree. I mean, they barely competed anyways. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
No, they were good for a while. The injuries kind
For
of
a while, but then they fell off.
They took
hard.
a game off the Bucks, and they didn't have Lonzo,
Yeah,
who
but
was
they
a
fell off
very
hard.
important piece for them. And I think they want to run it back.
The pick is in. Oh wait, did we already talk about the pick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 19 now.
Sorry, I feel like I'm ahead and behind at the same time.
19. We have the Timberwolves on the clock, who could go for a few guys. I know they were looking into Terry Eason as well.
Right.
So there's that. They could use this pick to get off of D'Angelo Russell. I heard they like EJ Liddell. Well, they could just go him, get a backup man behind Cat. They could also trade this for center. It sounds like they want a center, like rim protecting.
Yeah, well, both those guys are already gone.
Yeah, Mike Williams, which Durant's not too much of it, but Mike Williams is off the board. You're probably not reaching a Kessler here. Usually does not too much of a rim protector. I mean, maybe you get works for like a Capella trade or something like that, or I don't know. We'll see what happens if they're gonna trade Elo with this pick. If
Yeah, I mean, Kessler's still, I think, a little high. I mean, sorry, a little. It's a little high for him. Like, he's not.
Yeah,
he's like a late
I don't think you
first
take
rounder.
Walker Kessler here. You can take EJ Liddell here. Walker Kessler is more like a center. He's not a modern center. He can't shoot.
Yeah. Who do you think is his NBA comparison?
Kessler or EJ Liddell?
Kessler.
I want to say Capella could be a decent. He's a bit bigger than Capella. The white guy I can think of. Cole Aldrich. He's a white.
I was thinking Danny Tice, but Danny Tice can shoot.
No, he's not. Daniel Tice is like 4 inches shorter.
Oh, really?
It's not even close. And Walker Kessler can shoot, but Kessler can.
We're in ad break right now.
He can protect the rim. I mean, he could be the pick here. He does feel high. I'll say Jakob. Jakob seems like a good comp. Can shoot, doesn't elect too much, but he can if needed to. Good rim protection. Just a good center you want, but he's not going to be a star.
Kemba Walker's will be heading to his 5th team in a little over a year.
And then he's going to go to his 6th because he's going to get bought out, huh?
No.
Oh, the 5th team is... I don't know if anyone's going to sign him.
So Celtics to the Thunder, bought out by the Thunder, signed by the Knicks, joined the Pistons, trade to the Pistons, now bought out by the Pistons. And will join the
Detroit
Pistons.
still has $44 million in cap.
They have so much.
If the Knicks get Jalen Brunson on a decent contract, you can call this a W. But if they give that guy like 25 mil a season and then get rid of Durant to drop just 8 mil for that, if this is literally the trade, the Knicks get absolutely nothing and is just sending a pick to get off Kemba. First off, why wouldn't the Hornets just try to get off Gordon for that? Because you know the Pistons might have done it. Maybe they didn't even. Maybe the Knicks kind of schemed him there by calling quick and getting the pick quick and then sending it off. But just to get off of 8 mil, 8 mil, not Fournier's 17 mil. We have a trade.
And remember, the Hornets got the Pistons 2025 pick.
The Hornets got the Bucks 2025 pick that the Pistons own.
Right, but
yeah, well, they were giving up a first. They're gonna get it first. So Minnesota would take Jake LaRavia, the Wake Forest big man who had an incredible combine, and then they're gonna trade him to the kings of trading up, the Memphis Grizzlies. Wake Forest players.
there you go. There's the Memphis trade.
Not many Wake players in the league, but some really good ones when they get in the league. I mean, Chris
Hold on,
Paul.
that Shams tweet has been deleted.
Which one?
The one.
Because he forgot to put his stream in it.
No, he did.
No, the one that has his stream in it is there. He tweeted
no,
it
he
once,
just must have
forgot to
made a
put the
mistake.
stream in it, and did it again.
Ah.
But I mean, they have John Collins in the league right now. The Timberwolves will get both the 22nd and 29th pick. I had a similar trade up, not for LaRavia, but them doubling up 2 picks. I had them trade up, adding Dillon Brooks to get to 10. But they've traded up every year, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, some good Wake players, you know. John Collins, CP3, I think Ish Smith went there. You got. Just talking with my cousin about this because he goes there. Jeff Teague.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tim Duncan. How did I forget Tim Duncan? That's all I got right now. But yeah, definitely a
The Timberwolves will get 22
solid
and
play.
29.
Yeah, so
Timberwolves.
about expected.
Yeah, I mean that. It's basically you're trading 22 and 19, and then you're adding in 29.
And the Grizzlies don't have a lot of roster spots, and having 2 first-round picks wouldn't really help them that much. So
Right, exactly, because they're not gonna pick. They'd rather have one guy at 19 than 2 guys who probably won't really start too much at 22 and 29. Right? I mean that makes the most sense to me at least. But I mean, as we all know, the New York Knicks is where hope goes to die.
Uh, Pistons kind of laughing stock for the past however many years. Incredible. Memphis still has. If they don't sign Kyle Anderson and don't sign Tyus Jones, they have $20 million in cap space. They could trade for a star. They could be a sneaky team for like Kyrie, where they could
Who, the Pistons?
put in the Grizzlies. They could put
Oh.
in Dylan Brooks picks, use that 20 mil to get it up to like 31 mil, and still have tons of depth. You can even put a young player in too, and that team is just overwhelming with depth players. I mean, if you just look at their deep, multiple first-round picks over the last couple of years. Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bain, John Morant are kind of set on that starting lineup, but DeAnthony Melton,
Absolutely.
Zaire Williams, Brandon Clark as a backup big man, Xavier Tillman,
By the way,
Steven
did you see
Adams, Santi
you see that play-
Aldama.
You see that play by Kyle Tucker out in right field?
No.
Go to MLB on Twitter. It's incredible.
Did the Astros win?
I think they're winning. They're still up 6-3.
Oh, he stole a Judge home run?
Either a Judge home run or a double. I mean, it was
That would not
close.
have gone out. I think that would have been off the wall. But yeah.
I think that would have been off the wall, but probably it could have been a triple though. Could have been a triple.
I'm looking
So
for
as I said,
potentially coming up soon a Spurs trade because I mean they're on the clock now and they have
Connor, I was gonna
25
go
and two-
like
2 seconds.
we're going like 15, 20 minutes more.
You want to go to the end of the first round?
Oh, I have work today. I had work tomorrow. Like
It's 10, Michael. We went till like 11:30 for the NFL draft.
and it was the NFL draft. You know what I'm saying? Like first round.
This
But
one's a
we'll-
bit
we'll
more
get a couple
fun
more
because you're
picks.
getting one of 15 players on your roster instead of one of a larger, not like one of 53.
To be fair, I do know much more about football than I do about basketball.
So I'm gonna assume Kyle Anderson all but gone with Jake Loavia, becoming their kind of backup power forward. Who knows if they're even gonna keep Brandon Clark at this point too? But I don't expect them to even offer anything to Kyle Anderson. I'm sure some team will enjoy his presence. Slow mo could be a Celtics mid-level exception, potentially. He's a guy that we've talked about for Celtics. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, would you assume that San Antonio is shopping this pick right now?
I'd assume they're doing something because they have 4 picks left in this draft 20, 25, and then 2 seconds. That just feels like a lot to have for a team that already has a ton of young players.
Mm-hmm. Still waiting on the pick announcement. I like the draft caps though. What do you think, Connor?
I don't like them that much. They don't really show off the team that much.
That's true.
Right. Spurs will pick Malachi Branham at number 20. A bit of a fall for Branham out of Ohio State in this draft. He was kind of expected to be a higher taken prospect, the kind of combo guard scorer out of Ohio State, but still a first round pick. He's good. He's gonna be solid. I don't know how many wing players that team needs. I guess you can play him as a point guard more, but he's like 6'6". He's not a pure point guard like that. But he shot it well last year. He played well. Ohio State was a good team. Branham was, I think the Cavs were high on him. They went Ogbaji instead. and he makes his way all the way down to 20 here for the Spurs. The Spurs could be a spot if the Celtics are looking to trade up, where they just take 2 seconds for 25 because they don't need that many guys on the roster. 2 future seconds. Top 25 protected first that can 2 future seconds or something. Which would be kind of funny because it's the Celtics pick if they trade up to there. Just getting it back, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I like this pick for them. I don't really know how their rotation looks. Assuming they're keeping DeJounte, I mean, you already have Primo there, who is super similar.
Per Woj, their Timberwolves will also send a future second-round pick to the Grizzlies as part of the deal. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
Timberwolves get 22 and 29. Memphis gets 19 and a future second.
Yeah, that's about even. I mean, Joshua Primo, who's the the Spurs right now, shooting guard they took last year, is probably going to be younger than every prospect they take in this draft, which is kind of crazy. But I mean, Lonnie Walker is all but gone at this point. He's restricted. Maybe you try to get a sign and trade for a future pick or something, but and trade exception. You're not taking back Lonnie Walker. Maybe not even. Maybe just getting rid of Trey Jones and running with young guys. Josh Richardson could be a trade candidate. It feels odd. See what happens.
So who's on the clock at 21?
21 right now is the Nuggets. Could take Nikola Jovic. But what I could see happening is here. Is that Lonnie Walker will be a free agent, and that basically opens up a Spurs max slot almost. So we'll see. EJ Liddell is still on the board, probably the top guy still on the board. Ty Washington, point guard, still on the board. Wesley Liddell. I could see the Nuggets going Ty Washington. I know Jovic is a very fun mock there, but Ty Washington is more of a playmaking point guard. I think he'd fit well next to Bones. Backcourt. But we will see what happens here. Still, the guy, probably the top of my draft board right now, my personal draft board, is Wendell Moore out of Duke. I just think he's such a good prospect. He's got to be there.
I mean, hey, we got figured that. I still want to know the deets of the trade, though.
I think
The
it's
full
literally
details.
that. I think it's literally the
It
Hornets.
can't, bro. It can't just be that, though. The Knicks need to get something else out of that.
A
There's no
future
way.
second or some crap like that.
Bro, that's not enough, though.
Denver has
All-
Christian
You're telling
Braun.
me they all they get out of the trade is dealing Kemba away, an $8 million contract. That's it.
The Nuggets have Christian Braun at the top of their board, the power forward out of
Pick.
Kansas.
Pick Nikola Jovic.
He was very commonly. I mean, they just won the championship, but he was.
Well, the Nuggets. Hey, listen, Connor. The Nuggets could use someone who's won a championship. I'll tell you that much, bro. They need. Yep, and Denver will pick Christian Braun at 21.
He was a
for
guy.
Shams.
Yeah, Woj said he was the top of their board. Sham said it's the pick. He was a guy that the Bucks commonly rumored to be interested in at 24, as well as Jake LaRavia. I wonder if they go like a Walker Kessler there, or EJ Liddell on the board there. But
Right.
as we head to the end of this first round, last 9 picks now, Timberwolves back on the clock now after trading 9. We're looking at some good talent, especially guard talent, still just sitting on the board, and not many teams are taking guards right now. If
Nope.
Ty Washington falls to the second round, there might be trade ups on trade ups to get to him.
Celtics probably won't be one of those teams, though.
No,
will they?
he wouldn't make sense. Really, I think if the Celtics good, more playing, you do that in a trade. But take a bigger guy like a Dalen Terry would have. I don't think Ty Washington.
Mhm. Shams and Woj going head to head tonight. A very interesting matchup so far, that's for sure.
Killing that boy.
Woj took the first 4 picks off. He was like, you know what, I'll let Shams get an early lead just so I can have a little comeback. All right,
Gotta be-
who's at pick 22?
The Timberwolves.
T-Wolves, right,
The
because
Grizzlies.
he's traded with Memphis. Who do you think they're gonna take here?
I could see EJ Liddell going here.
Mhm.
Would be my kind of exception. My expectation could go guard. Just ended at bad. It could go Jovic. Here, the kind of need of that.
Bro, I
shoe.
just wanted the Nuggets to take Jovic, bro. That's it. And it didn't
My
happen.
guess would be EJ Liddell as a backup big. Or Walker Kessler. Those two as a backup big would be guess.
We will see. The Nuggets pick is in officially on the board. We already know what it is, of course, but we expect Adam Silver to be announcing it very soon. Oh. Oh man, I'm so tired.
I still cannot imagine the Knicks couldn't have done that with Fournier. Which I know Fournier is a better player, but Kemba's only 8 mil for this year. Fournier is 17 mil up to 19 mil for the next 3 years.
Right, and I feel like they could have gotten the same thing done, by the way, too.
I'm sure they could have.
So the Knicks, again for Usmani Deng, will receive multiple future first round picks, according to ESPN.
Yeah, there's still no wood on that one.
Yeah, we need some info, guys.
He was in the crowd. He didn't even get a table.
Did he really?
It's just
Bro, they're literally guys who haven't gotten drafted who are sitting at those tables.
a bunch of guys. Ty Washington, Kennedy Chandler, who I didn't expect to really be a first. Probably going to be sitting there. Like Wesley, Walker Kessler, Jean Beauchamp. I think Jovic had. Odie definitely.
Hey, Christian Braun drafted before them all, though, so it don't really matter. Christian Braun with the champions of last season. Pick 22 will be our final pick. I'm sure y'all can tell I'm very tired.
Walker.
And it'll be Walker Kessler. Connor, give us your thoughts on Walker Kessler.
Makes sense.
We will. Just by the way, before you do that, we will be back with an episode on the master plan, counting down our favorite picks from the draft, and reviewing the picks, especially that we did not cover tonight, just so everyone knows.
I mean,
but Connor,
they have Nas Reed as a backup big, but they've been really looking for a backup big recently, whether it's the draft or staff. Greg Monroe was playing minutes last year. That's not great. Walker Kessler, he can shoot if needed to. He was very good for Auburn this year. Big guy, a good rim protector, which they really don't have in Towns and Nas Reed, a great rim protector. There's some defense in that big man core. I think it's a good pick
Right.
by the solid pick.
do you think it's a bit earlier now?
When it's compensation for Jalen Duran, Denver 2023 first, Knicks 2023 second, Utah 2020, Dallas, Miami 2020 second was favorable. 2024 Knicks second. That's what the Knicks sent to the Hornets. And I guess as well as the Bucks pick, first round pick. So the Knicks send out a first that they own, 4 seconds, and then another first at 11 to get off of $8 million. That is, if that is
Bro,
truly
I'm
what
telling
happened,
you, there's got to be something else.
that is just tragic. That is just, I mean, one of those picks was just from the conditional pick. It was from the Thunder deal. But they get 2 conditional firsts, so highly protected first. Probably worse teams. Definitely not a Thunder first. Probably one of the ones they own. But if, okay, trade summary as of now. Pistons get Kemba Walker, Jalen Duren. Hornets get, that's not, never mind. That was it. But weird. Whoa! Philadelphia is picking trade 23 to Memphis for DeAnthony
Oh.
Melton.
Whoa.
That doesn't make sense either. I mean, I like it for the Sixers, definitely. But why do the Grizzlies have to go back up again to get another pick after already trading up? Who are they trading up for? Why didn't they just take him at 19? It's gotta be a Ty Washington as the backup point guard. If you don't get back Tyus Jones and you trade away D'Anthony Melton, I don't dislike. I kind of like that for the Grizzlies. I don't love it for the Sixers. I think I would rather them get like an Eric Gordon than inconsistent D'Anthony Melton who doesn't feel like he fits well next to like Maxey. Personally. But if the Memphis Grizzlies get Ty Washington here at 23, I do really like that move for them. I think they've cut money well, and they're going after someone big in cap space. Which, I mean, who would that even be at this point? Are they going after? Are they targeting David Roddy?
They're going after a big name, Connor.
Yeah, my thought process is Zach LaVine.
They're going after someone big. They're making room.
But they're getting
That's what they're
David
doing.
Roddy, who's the kind of he's not the very muscular guard slash forward, long wingspan. So you could maybe say you play the 3, good shooter. Grant Williams
How much money
is my
on D'Anthony Melton's contract?
like 8-9 mil.
So a little bit, but not a whole lot.
Yeah. Like the David Roddy, the perfect comp is Grant Williams. What Grant Williams did last year. He's big and muscular, but not that tall. Can shoot a 3, can play defense. He's very
Right.
Grant Williams-esque.
But he's not Batman, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah, he can't really shoot the corner 3. At least he didn't in college. So just like the top of the key, which is a bit harder to fit into an offense where usually the shooters like that sit in corners. But maybe he can develop that.
So Memphis is on the clock, and they just took
David Roddy.
David Roddy. So who's at 24 then?
24, you're gonna have the Bucks on the clock with a chance to get Ty Washington as their backup point guard. I'm not sure why Ty Washington is falling. I expect him to fall a bit, but not this far. And I feel like that's a really good pickup for the Bucks as a backup point guard because they desperately need a backup point guard. That's one of the biggest reasons why they didn't do why they weren't able to beat Celtics. Was, I mean, you had like George Hill and Javon Carter playing backup point guard minutes, which is really not good. So I could see it being Ty here. I could see them going potentially another guard prospect. There's a bunch of guard prospects on. Blake Wesley is more off the ball, but like you could go a John Beauchamp, Matt, Andrew Nemhard, Kennedy Chandler, though he's a bit undersized for the kind of defense they play. Sixers moved Danny Green as a part of the trade for. I mean, he's probably just gonna get released because he's in. But I personally really am not too big of a fan of that trade for Sixers. It felt like they were going for a lot better, like Eric Gordon. I'm taking over a lot of
Bigger name.
Yeah, I mean he's not a small name. He's good, but he definitely didn't get that much playing time, especially in the playoffs for Memphis, which makes you scared about guys. Makes you scared about what he's able to do. Really.
Right. No, I mean I firmly agree with that. Like there are definite concerns at the moment about the abilities of some of these players. And I honestly I do think that that's fair. I mean, let's be honest. I think there are concerns right now, and I think we have to really kind of evaluate what the Knicks and the 76ers have done tonight, because I think that those two have made some interesting moves.
So then they do get off the
76ers have moved Danny Green.
Yeah, they get off the Danny Green. I'm saying that they get off the Danny Green contract, which makes it
I
make
do
more
like
sense.
that. I think that that's all right.
I don't know if
yeah.
D'Anthony Mountain would do much for them, but that Danny Green contract, not eight.
I agree. I think that that's fine. I think that that's fine. But
So yeah, the Bucks on the clock here. See what Milwaukee does. I think a backup point guard is definitely in play for them. Maybe a bit depending on. I mean, they still have Bobby Portis, but depending on how much they like Lopez going forward, his big contract for a guy who couldn't keep himself healthy last year, who
right.
they want to instead. Like, they were looking at a lot of forward guys are now off the guys. But EJ Liddell is similar, so it could be that. Gotta see. Further into.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting for sure. It's
The main thing is I'm still questioning the Knicks trade. That seems just awful.
Yeah, I mean, we saw there's been
contract. I mean, I guarantee
there's been no reprieve.
the Pistons would have done that for Gordon Hayward's contract.
Yeah.
Which just puts into
again,
perspective that's not a good trade for the Knicks.
Well, there's been no new information.
The Thunder would have taken a second round pick to get off of just 8 mil. Thunder usually taking a late first round pick to get off of 30 mil. It would take 2 seconds to get Kemba back again and get off of 8. Pick 13. It's not like it was pick 25. It was pick 13. Milwaukee would take Marjon Beauchamp, of the G League Ignite. Talked about him, guard prospect, a good passer and decision maker. He's a good player. He's a good backup guard that Milwaukee needed, badly. George Hill's not.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are through pick 24. Spurs back on the clock. I think it's likely they trade this pick. You're not taking in 3 rookies in the first round on the 2-year deals, and then another couple rookies in the second round. I don't think that's possible for them.
No.
So I'd expect a trade here, and then the Rockets via Dallas are back on the clock again. This could be a trade for Ty Washington, someone liking him. as he drops. Like Kennedy Chandler, I can get the drop. It's similar to like the Sharif Cooper drop of last year, but Ty Washington doesn't make that much sense to me.
Yeah, so the Bucks are targeting Margin Beauchamp. I don't know if you said that.
Yeah, should it.
I mean, here's the thing about the Knicks, right? Here's the thing.
That actually, speaking of the Knicks, they could trade back up for Beauchamp. They worked him out multiple times. Stuff that definitely a possibility. So with Ty Washington, not Beauchamp, the Knicks could definitely trade up for Ty. So we'll see. You were gonna say something about the Knicks?
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, listen, if you're gonna blow it up, you're gonna want picks back. You're gonna want something back. And if you're just trying to like make room, you're gonna try to again, like you want to either get a player or something. And even if you wanted to make room, you would still not deal away Kemba over Evan Fournier because Evan's got more money left on his contract, right? So to me, it almost doesn't make sense no matter what. I mean, does that kind of ring true for you?
No,
Like
that does
there's
not
really no sense in it.
that does not cut enough cap space. I mean, you just saw how the Sixers were able to cut Danny Green, who has a bigger contract as well as a pick, 10 picks later, and still get back a rotational guy when the Knicks got back absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. And I don't
It seems
really
like they
get
got
why.
completely played.
Yeah, I mean but why?
Shout out
Why?
Detroit. Detroit basketball.
Shout out Detroit, baby. Detroit. Let's get it, baby. Detroit. We love Detroit.
I think Detroit's laughing at both these teams. You're laughing at the Hornets because like they know they would have taken on Gordon Hayward's big ass contract for Durant, and then you're laughing at the Knicks because they gave up only $8 million. You only have to take an $8 million contract and still have a max slot for that. That's just something.
I mean, it doesn't make sense, bro. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. But you know, I mean, what do you? Bro, it doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense. Why did the Knicks do that? There's no benefit. There's no benefit. There's no like silver lining.
It's so you can afford overpaying a guy like Jalen Brunson. But I mean there are other contracts you can off. 20 is awful contract for multiple years. Burke's contract is just as big. Derrick Rose's is like double the size. Nerlens Noel's 3-year awful contract. There's just so many. Doesn't make sense. So, yeah, the Spurs. If the Spurs are gonna pick here, I'd say Patrick Baldwin Jr. Just a very high potential guy, but I just don't expect him to pick. You don't need that many freaking rookies on your team and young guys on your team. You already have basically a rookie, in Joshua Primo, who didn't play much last year, and he's still 19. He was easily the youngest player in the league last year. Who knows what's happening there?
Yeah,
I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Meanwhile, the Yankees tied the game up on an Aaron Hicks 3-1 3-run home run in the bottom of the ninth. So
San Antonio make their pick. They're taking Blake Wesley at 25. Another guy who's dropped considerably. Kind of shocking. I mean, it still could be traded that they're having this many rookies on their team. But I like him. I didn't like him as a lottery pick.
Do you like it as a fit?
As a fit, I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need him and Branham to kind of do the same thing? Probably not. But I mean, who do you? I'll compare him to Bones Highland.
Now let me ask you a question. I mean, do you almost feel as if, and again, I can be wrong about this, but do you almost feel as if the Spurs are like the Patriots of the NBA in terms of their drafting? They kind of draft who they want rather than who everyone else thinks they should pick?
Not necessarily. I think a bit. But they don't draft like reaches, really.
They don't draft a Cole Strange.
Yeah, like Primo was a super young guy. He was a solid. I mean, there's a bit of a reach, but not that much. Devin Vassell definitely wasn't a reach. Keldon Johnson got good value on. Lonnie Walker dropped in the draft. They took him. Derek White was about that draft range. DeJounte Murray about that draft range. Kyle Anderson had a huge drop and they took him. So I don't think so necessarily. I think they definitely have a lot of boomer bust guys, but not necessarily like a ton of crazy reaches. A lot of ways, they haven't really had top lottery picks either. Until the past couple years. I mean, they were in the playoffs for 20 years straight until then. And Devin Vassell was a guy who dropped. And then Joshua Primo, you can say, is a reach, but the talent and the age is overwhelming. He's the youngest player ever to play in college basketball and be in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not the youngest in terms of like the high schoolers coming to the league, but like in terms of guys who went to a year of college, he's the youngest who's.
Right. No, I mean, again, I agree. Like, it's just
Another Rockets on the clock. The Mavericks picking for the Rockets because that trade can't go through until the new that being can't trade 2 picks in back-to-back years. Mavericks technically have to keep this pick.
Wait, what do you mean? You can't trade picks?
The Stepien rule. You can't trade picks in back-to-back years. You always have to have a pick every other year, a first-round pick. But teams just get around that by waiting for the draft to happen and then trading the draft right. So we'll say he'll get a Mavericks hat. Whoever they take will get a Mavericks hat, but no, he's going to the Rockets.
Gotcha. I mean, is that just because they in the past teams have just traded away their picks like time after time?
Yeah, I mean, it's been it was. I mean, it was. I think he was an owner himself. The Stepien Wool, Ted Stepien.
Hershams.
He owned the Cavs and just traded picks all over. Just kept trading picks. And
Wendell Moore. Wendell Moore.
Wow, that's a really good pick. And the Rockets are getting him.
Rockets.
That's a guy I would like the Celtics trade for. Wendell Moore is going to be really good in the
In other big Boston news, Patrice Bergeron has made his decision with the Boston Bruins. He will be returning to the Bruins on a 1-year deal. So, good news for the Bees. We'll get Patrice Bergeron, and hopefully they will look for another center, maybe Nazem Kadri or someone else to fill that second line role, because I think Hala is much better served on the third line.
Wendell Moore can create his own shot, defend. He shot 40% from 3 last year. This is a really good prospect. The Rockets have now taken 3 forwards in this draft, like small forward, power forwards. So maybe this gets traded. They probably can't trade it yet. Minnesota. That can't. Are you right, Woj? Is Minnesota trading for this pick?
Minnesota is landing Dukes Wendell Moore 26.
That's what
Wow.
Woj said. But Minnesota is 29. Is Minnesota trading back up to get more?
I
Or
mean,
did he
that's-
mean to say Houston?
The Yankees walked it off versus the Astros.
Bottom of the ninth or bottom of the 10th?
Bottom of the ninth. Unbelievable.
Houston is trading Wendell Moore to Dallas? That'd be the funniest thing if they just trade the same pick back.
I think it was a.
Okay, again, a disagreement. Woj said Minnesota. Sham said he's going to Dallas, whose pick it was anyways, then traded it for Christian Wood, but now he's going back to the Mavs, which means the hat might be
What?
correct. Who knows?
What is going on, bro? Why can't they get their stories straight?
Another
This is-
three-team
This is
trade?
getting-
Alright, I
getting
trust, after the
ridiculous.
first trade, I trust Woj more. I think Minnesota's getting Wendell more.
You think Minnesota is?
I think so. Woj was right the first time. Maybe
Alright.
Shams just got confused that it said Dallas's. Yeah, Woj
That
deleted
means
his tweet. Shams deleted his tweet. I think Shams
Shams
was
got, like-
incorrect. He got confused by it
Shams
saying
is-
Dallas on his TV screen. I think
Shams
it's
has
got to
been
be Minnesota.
Totally off his game tonight. Sham has been totally off his game.
Woj better. That's a good pickup for Minnesota.
Yeah.
Getting Wendell Moore. Yeah, it didn't make sense for Houston because they just had picked 3 small forward power forwards in the draft. So you're probably looking at him to be kind of that backup 3. I know Torian Prince played fine for them, but more of a solidified scorer off the bench. Maybe they trade Malik Beasley, let Jalen Noel be more defensive too, and just have Wendell Moore be a kind of all around prospect out there. You have McDaniels, you have Walker Kessler now, and it's solid. It's definitely a solid draft by the Timberwolves so far.
There have been a couple good ones. There have also been a couple really bad ones.
It's just the Knicks one. I mean, just circle back to the Knicks one as
The Knicks has been the worst by just so much.
we have 4 picks left in the first round. Only 32 left in the draft as 2 teams don't have their picks. 20 picks round.
I think Aaron Judge walked it off, by the way.
Not Aaron Judge.
Yeah, he hit a double. Yep, right to the corner. Wow. Oh.
Waiting for the Woj owns you applies to Shams new.
You really tweet L?
Yep. I think that's a good pickup for Minnesota. Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I like the Timberwolves team.
Alright, we'll finish out the first round. We're already at pick 27.
One more picks. We got the Heat who are looking to trade this pick. The Warriors who are looking to trade their pick. Timberwolves back on the clock. Actually, the Timberwolves might have traded that pick to Houston here at 29, but we'll see. And then the Thunder back on the clock, who probably also trade that pick. We first already taken. You don't need a 4th guy, Sam. You'll get a future heavily protected first round pick.
Now let me ask you: if you have multiple first round picks, can you, if you've traded one the year before, can you still trade another one of them? Like, let's say you traded the first round pick the year
As
before.
long as the now, if you traded a pick last year, now you can trade a pick this year, if the year's already passed. But like, if you trade a pick this year, you can't trade your 2023 pick. So the reason that trade has to go has to wait
because they've
is
already
Dallas already traded
got it,
their
got it, got it.
2023
They've already traded next year's pick.
Yeah,
Got it. That makes sense.
I think that was to the Knicks.
Okay, per
Yeah, that was a
Woj,
part of the Porzingis trade to the.
part of the Houston Christian Wood trade, Minnesota is sending Houston the 29th pick and 2 future seconds for Wendell Moore at 26.
Yeah, makes sense. Just 29 and probably really late protected seconds. Even combat. But yeah, that's a good trade for Minnesota. I really like Wendell Moore as a prospect. I think he's gonna be very good draft. He's a guy when I heard the Celtics were trying to trade up in the late 20s. He's a guy I looked at as being that perfect backup kind of 3-4 wing player that Nesmith was just not gonna be. Wendell Moore fit that well. We got a ton of point guards on the board. EJ Liddell is still on the board. People had him going 18 a lot. I predicted his
still
drop.
out there.
I thought EJ Liddell was going to drop. He's like the Luka. I talked about it in our podcast. He's like the Luka Garza type thing, where he's a good college player, but might not necessarily do. But yeah, you have a ton of point guards. Tye Washington, Kennedy Chandler, Jaden Hardy, Andrew
The
Nembhard.
Heat still on the clock.
Nikola Jovic still on the clock. Oh wait, sorry. The Nuggets own, not the Thunder. That was the Jermichael Green. So Jovic still has a chance to get down to the Nuggets at their next pick. If you're still into that, Michael. They took a guard.
I've been into it the entire night.
They took kind of. It said he's a shooting. ESPN as a shooting guard. I'd say he's more of a.
The Heat still on the clock. They're down to under a minute left. We still have no word.
Minnesota getting Kessler and Moore.
I thought they said Wendell
only-
Moore is headed to Dallas.
Miami will pick Nikola Jovic. Minnesota traded for him. Dallas has picked the
No! Hold on, but it's Shams. It could be wrong.
No, Shams been wrong about the the trades, not the players.
So the Heat don't trade the pick.
Fell further than expected. I get why he fell. It doesn't look. I mean, he doesn't seem like a credible prospect to me. He's a shooter. He'll come off the bench as a shooter. They already have Duncan Robinson, who they just paid a ton of money to. Is he really going to do anything better than that? He's awful on defense. He's big, but he's not that big.
I like the pick for the
He's
Celtics.
6'10", 6'9".
I like it for the Celtics.
I would have been fine for the Celtics.
No, I like it for the Celtics. I like the Heat picking him because they're going to get weaker. It's not a very good pick, I don't think.
They're not going to get weaker. He's a guy they could develop into a shooter. They have so much depth anyways. And they might even keep him overseas for a year in the G League for a year and hope he can develop into something. At the late first round.
Really have so many shooters, though.
You're not really expecting pick 27 to necessarily be someone, especially a team like the Heat that are competing and have so many young wings like that. That hey, if he turns into something, that's amazing. Otherwise, oh well, people rated him highly, picked him. So 3 more picks. The Warriors on at 28th. This is a pick that was also rumored the Celtics trading up for. I don't know if anyone they would want is on the board left. Assumption point that they might be.
Doubt it.
Although the Warriors really don't need much, they could go EJ Liddell. Oh, he's talking about that. Yeah, he's talking about that. They're just talking about the Miami Heat pick. But they could go like EJ Liddell, get a backup possible. They have Wiseman they like, I guess. Could go playmaker and Tye Washington because Jordan Poole is not a playmaker. Moses Moody can be more on the small forward. Andrew Nem, it's the I just trade this. Christian Koloko, pick for that. I don't know. We'll see what they. I assume they trade, take a project. They could take an overseas guy. I mean, that's what I had them do in my mock. I had them taking Gabriel Posida and just letting him sit and for another.
Connor, look what I'm retweeting. Go to my Twitter.
Essen one.
Yeah.
Essen cover the.
No, they cut. Well, not really.
Steve Snaps, but
Did they really say that?
yeah.
Wow.
So
That's
where is that Bucks pick going?
I thought it was going to the Hornets.
But it's not in the trade details that at least the Nesson thing did. Because that 2023 first is the heavily protected Denver first. This is a 2025 first. Knicks get from that's the OKC one. Oh my god. Knicks get from OKC a 2023 first rounder from Detroit that's 1 through 18 protected through 2024, 1 through 13 in 2025, 1 through 11 in 2026, 1 through 9 in 2027. 2023 first from Washington, that's 1 through 14 in 2023, 1 through 12 in 2024, 1 through 10 in 2025, 1 through 8 in 2026. 2023 first from Denver, which is protected 1 through 14 through 2025. And that's abysmal. That is abysmal from the Knicks.
Hey, you know it, baby.
They are
That's what
fine.
we
The
do.
Knicks will be getting the Bucks 2025 first round pick. Okay.
But still, that's
Yeah, it's still
2 years
awful,
away.
but it's now two trades. Now I'm seeing how it made sense for the Knicks to be a part of this, as the Knicks first traded for Duran and then traded him away instead of it being like a true 3 team, because then it would have made sense to just cut the Knicks out and send like Gordon. But yeah, Pistons, great trade. Basically, you're trading Jeremy Grant for cap 15 million cap, counting the Kemba contract against it. But even if he buys out for like half the contract, even more, and Jalen Duran, which I really like for the Pistons.
We're still waiting on the Warriors pick. The NBA
They're
champs.
probably looking at some trade rumors. The Warriors have Patrick Baldwin Jr. atop their draft board. That makes sense. He's definitely a high potential guy. Was highly rated in high school and kind of fell off there. I like him. I had him as a
Yep,
first
Golden
round
State
player.
will pick Patrick Baldwin at 28.
Yeah,
confirmed.
I had him as a first round grade. He was like a top 5 guy out of high school that just fell. And it's a gamble. He might just play how he did,
Do you see what Woj was just doing, though, by the way?
saying atop their draft board.
Yeah, he's saying atop their draft board and saying they've picked. So he's kind of circumventing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
he's not announcing the pick, but he is.
But yeah, Patrick Baldwin, I was kind of expecting him to go out of the draft. He went to Milwaukee to play under his dad. And that team sucked, and he sucked on that team. He shot at like 30-20%, and it was ugly. It's ugly. But he's a risk. He has the ability to potentially be there. And he showed it in high school. And maybe he was just in such a bad such a bad position with like awful prospects around him at Milwaukee, that he just played badly like that. I don't think he'll play for the Warriors next year at all, but I mean, he's a guy you can send to the G League. Try to do a Jordan Poole, send him to the G League for 2 years, and maybe he comes out big.
Hey, maybe exactly. I mean, you're not expecting big from 28, right? So, yeah. All right, so we have who's at 29? Or I mean, he's been traded a couple times, so I guess we probably don't know.
I believe it's now. Wait a minute. Right now we had. It's Houston via Dallas via Memphis via the Timberwolves. Or Memphis via the Timberwolves via
Got it,
Dallas
got
via
it.
Houston. It's Houston's pick.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed to know. Too much legwork there, buddy. Too much legwork. That was. I mean, come on now.
Fun.
You're asking a little bit too much for me to follow that. All right. That was a little too much. Jeez, but yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense, though, right? I guess.
Houston will pick Ty Washington at 28.
I mean, at 29.
29, so.
Ty at 29.
Ty finally goes off the board.
Yeah, he went off late.
It's-
Woj better delete this tweet.
What?
He misspelled Ty's name.
Oh, with the second capital.
Yeah. Come on, Woj, you're better than that. This tweet has since been deleted.
I don't think it's gonna.
Woj has been on it tonight, baby.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great draft for. Ty Washington is a
Was
guy
it
you
their
would have
third or
taken
fourth
at.
pick?
That was their third pick. They got Paolo Banchero, they got Tory Eason, and they got Ty Washington. If
They got a
Kevin
squad.
Porter Jr. has I mean, what you'd expect out of Kevin Porter Jr. at this time, and it doesn't work out for them, or if he doesn't work out as point guard and they want to make him a wing instead, that's your point guard. You have Josh Christopher, but he's more of a 2. So I think it's a good move for them to have a guard prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Just in that depth chart, they don't have too many guards. They have Eric Gordon, who I'm sure they'll try to trade, but not too many pure passing point guards.
Mm-hmm. Bro, I mean, you know it, baby. You know what's going on. Like, it's chill, though. Na, 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 na. But like, all right, so we have one more pick left.
Last
Well, we have to announce this one.
Denver Nuggets.
They can't pick my main man, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
Here the I mean, EJ Liddell's dropping. It's worth a got a guard before.
Hey, they need someone to help Jokic.
So they could just get a guy who's fallen and draft a backup. Couple backup bigs. They could just go.
Let's refresh the old Twitter.
With Zach. Nate Chandler's.
Oh, Woj corrected it. He corrected it. He corrected it.
Christian Koloko, I could see. But yeah, I mean, Caleb Houston's still on the board. I actually wouldn't mind Caleb. Oof. You saw him at the under 18 USA. Great at all of them. Wait and see.
Yo, is there a Taco Bell commercial during Nikola Jovic's pick? Question mark.
The second rounders. All picks
Well,
in the
that was-
first
that's
round are going to be
wild,
on the
though.
street.
That's wild. I mean, that's crazy that that happened. Back-to-back MVP. Damn, Woj needs to get his hair back, man. Holy crap. You got that LeBron James hairline.
Alright, me at 30. Last pick. Come on. Gonna be.
I got Jabari Smith Jr. at 30.
Denver Nuggets are on. Now I think they look for a big. Could be kid. I think it's gonna be Christian Coloco is one guy. The big. Ichi Liddell. I like Coloco a lot. I think Jalen Williams at Arkansas got some on buzz. Almost Rob Williams-esque with the athleticism, walking and stuff. So that's a possibility. I expect it to be a big. We'll see. Good drafts overall, guys. A lot of teams. Rockets, the Pistons. I like the Timberwolves draft. This wasn't terrible. Love.
Celtics have done amazing so far tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they talked to some teams. Peyton Watson. Winning the sham. At pick 30 for the Denver Nuggets.
All right, Connor, close
is
us out.
a kind of power forward prospect, big man that I was talking about. He went to UCLA. He was solid there. Wasn't incredible. Didn't play too much, but he was a high touted high school guy. Kind of surprised that they're actually taking him, but yeah. So that is the NBA draft, the first round of the NBA.
There we go, everyone. We're back. Thank you all for listening. Connor and I will break all this down in another episode of the Master Plan. Thank you all for listening and joining us here tonight. It's been a lot of fun. The Knicks suck. See you guys soon.